welcome back to the Giant Beastcast. Here we go, folks. The industry's making moves. Everybody's moving and shaking. I'm Vinny Caravella here. It is episode, what do we got here, 279th. It is Thursday, September 24th, Friday, September 25th. If you're listening to it on a Friday or whatever day you'd prefer to listen to this, it's up to you. We leave that up to you. I am saying goodbye to summer and saying hello to Alex Navarro. Hello, Alex.
Yes. Autumn made flesh. That's me. Alex, hi. How's it going?
Going pretty well by me. I am saying goodbye to hopefully the last of the few in the 80s days. It has been kind of nice. Then got a little hot, and now it's kind of nice again over here. Abby Russell.
I want the heat. Bring on the heat. Bring back the heat.
I don't want the heat.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Hot.
No.
Hoodie weather.
Hot.
Cool,
Hoodies
cool,
are bad.
cool.
There's too much fabric. Who wants a cape?
No, you finally get to dress in the winter.
It's too
You
much
finally get to
fabric.
put clothes
You
on.
also got like a hard, scrapey zipper on the front.
Yeah,
of you.
hard,
Just
scrapey
wear a
zipper.
sweatshirt. Get a sweatshirt that's way cozier.
Bacalar, you seem like a person, when you're rolling your eyes, and when you roll your eyes and your camera
And he's
looks
like-
purple, you looks like you are going to pass
You
out.
really do not
Yeah.
look good.
It's a rough combo, man.
Your camera is
Look,
very
I'm
purple.
here.
right now.
I'm here just for the gifts now. Is really what I've.
Somebody take
decided
that one,
today's gonna be-
slow it down 200% and just watch him follow.
Today's
We have a new emote. It's called Dead Jeff.
dead Jeff. Oh,
Make a GIF out of
Jeff
that one.
dead.
Bacalar, how you
Some
doing
GIF.
over there?
I'm as good as anyone can probably be, all things considered.
Okay.
It's been a couple interesting weeks
Okay.
in the world and here, so how about it?
How about what?
Let's just
Just
be
it.
happy
All of
with
it.
what we have and enjoy the moment we share together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's how.
Are you
that's
talking about
what
the
I'm going
podcast? Are you
Yeah.
alluding to something else? What are we doing here?
with. I'm just saying, I
Okay.
say this a lot. This is the highlight of my week. I don't know about you guys.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
aside from like the
nice.
endless, time spent with family. But yeah,
I love seeing you guys every Thursday.
Yeah,
It's
a
nice. We get to chat. I miss seeing y'all in person in the office one day.
great. It's a very nice
Someday.
treat. It's a nice treat.
Okay. Sorry, I was looking in the chat for a second. I thought maybe there was something wrong. I think everything's okay, right? Anybody see
think it
anything
is.
pass by there?
Is chat upset?
No, I thought there was maybe a problem with the stream, but
Oh.
keep an eye on there. I thought I saw Jan having to fix something. Hope everything's okay.
See, I got
We're
this
gonna keep
heavy mic dong, and it's just giving me a little. It's moving on me now.
You're saying the weight balance is off now.
A little bit of a weight balance on my mic dong.
You're a little front heavy
Yeah.
on your mic dongle. Okay, folks, if you're listening to the audio, Jeff has a big old microphone dongle and he's purple. That's what's going on.
That's what you've missed.
That's what
Get
you've
yourself
missed.
a monitor so you can watch that.
Yeah.
And
We
one
all-
is not
everybody else
necessarily
looks
related to the
amazing.
other, but we don't know.
Yeah, it's possible.
Everything-
Very possible.
Okay.
I think
Uh,
everything looks great, and we're
fantastic.
recording it. I'm recording it. We're all recording it. The
Mhm.
worst thing that happens is that we lose it forever.
Okay.
Would that
Great.
be the worst thing?
Folks, the Giant Beastcast today. I want to talk a little bit about a game called Hades.
Mm-hmm.
Been playing a lot of
Mhm.
Hades.
Feel like I played an awful lot of that game 8 months ago.
Oh.
I
Why
waited till it was
specifically-
fully out. I just bought it and I have hardly played it, but I hear nothing but good things. I'm eager to
Jeff?
really sink my teeth.
Mm.
Why specifically 8 months ago?
Like, when did it first come out in early access on Epic Games?
2 years ago.
Holy shit! I don't know the difference between 2 months, 8 months, and 2 years.
None of us
Dude,
do
no,
anymore,
that keeps
man.
happening for me too, where I'm like, oh, just last year I did that thing, and then I look it up and I'm like, that was 3
I was
years
off by a
ago.
factor of 3.
Yeah.
Hades, Supergiant's latest venture out there, available on Switch, on PC, Epic Game Store, or Steam. $20-ish. I'm not sure if that's the sale price across all platforms. Very fine game. I really
Yeah.
Playing
like
it on Vinny.
I'm playing it on the Switch and on PC. I got they sent me a code, thank you Supergiant, for the Switch, and then I played it there, but then I paid actual USDs on Steam. I bought it there. because I liked it so much. I want to throw them a little money because I want
Yeah.
to support games I like. So and also in getting ready for the quick look, I wanted to look and see if there are any differences. I think it plays really well on the Switch. After recording it on for the quick look, I think the Switch is a little blurrier, obviously blown up.
Yeah,
at
it's not as
1080p.
sharp.
Not as sharp compared to the PC version, but it runs pretty well. I haven't noticed a lot of frame drops or anything on the Switch, which is really
I
what
haven't
you're
noticed
after.
really any.
Yeah.
Yeah, like even in some truly chaotic situations in that game, I have found that it has held up remarkably well on the Switch.
So yeah, I think it's supposed to maybe have cross saves in the future. I think there's some messaging on that. There's a big cross saves menu on it at some point that hopefully I can just go back and forth. But for right now, since I made a lot of progress on the Switch, I'm playing there. Hades is a rogue-alike, light roguish game where it's a run-based game where you kind of are trying to escape the underworld. You play as Prince, I'll just call him
Zagreus.
And you're trying to escape the underworld through kind of a maze of the underworld chambers, separate combat chambers and encounters. That's kind of the setup, but it's got a pretty good narrative, like you might expect from a Supergiant game, the makers of Bastion, Transistor, Pyre, and that carries through from run to run in a linear fashion. So the narrative kind of builds up. It doesn't just reset and you just rinse and repeat again. So that's really keeping me going a lot. And I'm really enjoying that. I think the combat is really good. It's for $20, the $20 I paid for it. I don't know the length of it. I don't know the replay value on it after you make it out and kind of go again, but it sounds like from hearing other people who've finished it or made it through those runs that it is there and it does exist. So really impressive package, and people should check out the quick look or check out runs of it if you're looking for some let's call it competent play. No, maybe
you don't want to overstate things.
Listen, I think I did okay, but I'm sure there are some a lot better players out there by this point.
I bet you did great, Vinny.
Thanks. That's really encouraging to hear. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So yeah, Hades is a game I've been spending a lot of time with at the expense of things like Spiritfarer and Paper Mario. Need to go back and finish those games. Someday I gotta get back into Factorio and rebuild my whole base from scratch. That's just daunting. That's a daunting task. Yeah. What's up? Hey, you changed color. Good job.
Yeah, I'm just being a professional. I
You
feel
finally turned the oxygen level up in your room.
Yeah, it's actually I feel wide awake. It's amazing. I'm surprised you're still Factorio. Factorio is the game for you that just sort of like creeps up it's in the back of your throat at all times, and every now and then
it's
it just
there forever.
Escapes your mouth and it comes out, and I find that fascinating and endlessly.
I mean, we've all got those games.
We've
all got things that we go back to all the time, no matter what.
I go back and play certain games all the time.
Yeah.
So you got it.
It's like a it hits a lot of the trigger centers of my brain, Factorio, in a way that even stuff like Satisfactory does not. It is Factorio is kind of pure. I really loved RTS games, and it's another reason I want to play that Iron Harvest game. I haven't had a chance to do that, but I really love classic RTS games. But the thing I liked about them, the reason I liked Age of Empires, I like building fortresses. I like building things with walls and turrets and defensive situations. And as RTS games move forward, they kind of got away from that. They went into aggressive, be on the offensive mostly. A lot of that came from the Relic RTS stuff as they shifted forward with Company of Heroes and kind of moved in that direction and got away from the kind of turtle up defense stuff. And I feel like Factorio is pure build a self-sufficient factory, but also has a bit of combat in it against the environment. And I think that, to me, building a world and a base that is self-sufficient and sprawling and big, it's really right up my alley. Aside from that, still playing a lot of Microsoft Flight Simulator, having a good time with that. I don't know if I need to upgrade my PC for some of that. I still am getting a little chunking up, but I played that with Drew last weekend for raising money for Bike MS, the multiple sclerosis charity that Drew does annually. And you can check that out as of now on the site, or you can check Drew's point of view out on Cloth Map. That was a lot of fun. There is a debug mode in that game, basically, or a toggle where you can set the altitude of your plane, and we were able to go to space and then come back
Ooh.
into basically, I would say above the planet. I don't know if that's low orbit or what. You're not actually
I think
orbiting.
that's considered low orbit.
But you see the
Like the
curvature of the
stratosphere
Earth.
or
Yeah,
something?
like way up there. You're just seeing stars and the curvature of the planet. And then as soon as you set it back to, you just, start going down real fast.
Oh yeah.
And that's really fun. I think it was about 250,000 feet up in the air, which is pretty high for an airport.
Do you mean to tell me that you did not hit the ceiling of the flat Earth dome that imprisons us all?
I did not.
Okay.
It's not truly a simulator. I did not hit
Yeah.
the glass of the screens that are above us.
Yeah.
So yeah, playing a lot of time with that, Alex, or spending a lot of time with that.
Mhm.
Those are the two big things I've been checking out. Mario 3D All Stars, bought for the kids. We'll see how long my son lasts with that one. It's not
Is
something
he excited
I'm.
to finally be playing Sunshine?
He was.
I know that was
and he
like on
is-
his list.
Yeah,
right?
He's running around in it. He played some Mario. What's it? 64, Mario 64. I think he's playing more of that than he was of Sunshine. I think there's Sunshine. I said this somewhere else during some other stream, but I think Sunshine a little more open, quote unquote, open world, and kind of find the thing that he's having a little trouble navigating some of that than 64, which kind of just lets you jump in the painting and do the kind of objectives there. So I think he's having a little more trouble with Sunshine finding the objectives than with 64, which is kind of laid out in front of you a little bit more. They're very similar, but just a little bit more. But weird thing they did with the inverted controls in Sunshine, where they flipped it to not inverted. We'll not say normal, but I will say not inverted for the aiming, and then didn't give a
Comfortable
toggle.
controls, I think, is what people call it.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Good control.
I'm not having this
Yeah.
conversation. I think it's a weird one to do, but I also understand
It is weird to do it without giving you an option to switch it
Yeah.
back.
Like you would think they'd have like a classic mode and then
Yeah.
like a
Right.
modern mode.
Even
Yeah,
if it's in
but-
the launcher, like put it before. I understand if
Yeah.
you're not like don't want to go in and muck around with the UI, but put it before on the launcher for the game and just say play classic or traditional controls, or whatever, baby controls. So yeah, that's they're gonna, and he's played Galaxy before, so I think that's not as wild for him. But Galaxy is a hell of a game. So
Yes, it is.
Alex,
It's the
what's
only
up?
part of that collection I'm actually into. Yeah. I played a little bit of that stuff. I've like kind of booted up each of those games, except for Sunshine, which I don't need in my life ever again. And I will echo some of the sentiments I've seen online. Mario 64 is a classic that nobody needs to play probably ever again unless you are speedrunning it, because it is a fascinating game. I think it is important in the lineage of Nintendo and what they have done over the years. But as a game you just kind of want to sit down and play, it maybe is lacking in some very key areas. So I don't know. Like I don't know that I'm going to spend a lot of time with that one. But I did, I spent a little time with the Mario Galaxy, and that game is still fucking fantastic. Now do Mario Galaxy 2, cowards.
I'm surprised that wasn't in there.
It'll come along at some point. Like you, I have thrown most of the games that I've been playing, like the Spiritfarer and Tony Hawk and all those other things, kind of by the wayside now that Hades is out and 1.0. So I did play a bunch of Hades kind of at the beginning of their early access period, like the first several months that game was in early access. And I kind of stopped after a while because I was like, other than just checking in a little bit, just kind of seeing like what the app updates were and then kind of leaving it alone because I just wanted to play the whole thing kind of in one stretch when it was done. But I will say that as far as early access experiences go, and granted, I have somewhat limited experience with them because most times I just don't want to mess with a game until it's done. That was one of the best early access runs I think I've seen a game have.
Definitely.
Even at the very beginning, there was like the parts that make that game fun were there. You would still get the drip feed of narrative as you were going through, even if like all the pieces weren't there yet. The combat still felt pretty fun and dynamic, even though it wasn't finalized necessarily. Like just a lot of the core components were already ready to go. And then with each update, I just feel like that, it was well messaged. Like the timing of that stuff, I think was all pretty well delivered. So, I just want to give my thumbs up for that, because doing early access well is something that I think should be lauded when it is done.
Mm-hmm.
And I am in no way disappointed with the final product. I think that game is really terrific. I think the character art is spectacular. I think the background art is spectacular. I think the writing is really strong. all the the different god personalities. They all seem like different kinds of aloof dickheads, and I kind of love it. And I just, I think they are doing the Supergiant narrative style in a format that works surprisingly well. Like the linear narrative with the repeated runs, I feel like that game flow is really solid, and they've done it right.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I don't really love run-based stuff so much, and this one has me in a way that is keeping me on the treadmill, I guess is the easiest way to say it. I think I just want to echo everything you have said about the artwork, the sound, the menu design, the UI, all coming together.
Yep.
Anybody else play Hades before we move on from that?
I played a little bit. I want to play more. I basically just started it. Okay. I'm enjoying it. It's very much the Supergiant aesthetic. I don't love some of the voice acting, which I think is just maybe a stylistic thing that's just not my jam. It just feels it feels very theatrical, like I'm voice acting like a god. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That I think maybe I would like more if it was just let me say a catchphrase as you go into my text dialogue, but not say the whole thing. I don't know. This is such a nitpicky dumb thing, but I'm eager to get into it. It looks good. It looks, like a Supergiant game, but yeah, I'm pumped to get into it. Everybody seems to be really hot on it.
Yeah, I have a feeling it will be on my list come the end of the year.
It'll probably be on mine too, but I don't know if it's my favorite game of the year so far.
I feel like
people are very excited about it though.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I feel like there haven't been that many games this year that I'm yes, I loved this game. Maybe just because of quarantine or what, but
I've really loved.
I mean, the number. Spiritfarer is on that list for me.
That one.
But do I have an actual top 10 yet? No, I think I have maybe a top 5 or 6, but that's about as far as I've gotten this year.
Honestly, if I were going to start my rank now, you know what's number 1?
What?
Fortnite. I've been playing so much Fortnite and having a great time doing it.
All right.
I guess I have to play Hades again.
Yes.
You just have to go back. It's been, by your count, 2 years. So I need to play it and see what I remember, because odds are I can't just get back into that thing. I probably have to restart it and see.
Oh, I restarted. I started fresh on the Switch, and I don't regret that one bit. I still have a PC save, and I could probably go back to that at some point if I really want to, but I kind of wanted to play it on my TV, and there's a child sneaking behind you, Jeff. There's a sneaking mission happening behind you. I don't want to blow up your son's spot, but
he's cool. He's cool. I don't know.
He even had the little tippy toes.
Yeah,
he was super sneaky about it.
That
was good.
I turned over. He goes, "Don't worry about it. I'm just watching TV." I'm like, "All right,
okay,
that's adorable.
That's good.
You live your dream, dude." He's just like a roommate now. He's not even like a child.
Hey, you left your bowls in the sink.
I was just like, dude, it's your turn to empty the dishwasher. I just have to get back into it. I didn't hear you said it performs well on Switch.
It does, yeah. Like I said, it doesn't look quite as crisp as the PC version does, where you can kind of make out literally every visual detail, but it runs well, and I think it comes across well on that platform.
Cool.
Alex, anything else?
Yeah, I just kind of dipped my toes in this one a little bit last night. Yeah, no one wants to hear about me showing feet, but so this game came out yesterday. I had not really heard of it before, but I saw a trailer and I was like, oh, this looks kind of up my alley. This game called Art of Rally. It is a rally racing game with kind of a sort of pulled back, not quite top down, but pulled back almost isometric camera view. And the art style is very, I don't know how to describe it, except it's not lo-fi, but it is definitely a more blocky, cartoonish style,
it's
as opposed
vectory.
to yes, vectory.
Yeah,
that's
it's
a good way.
Almost tilt shifty.
Yes, and it has a very kind of synth wavy soundtrack to it, but it is a game that seems to be kind of about celebrating old style rally cars and rally racing. It has that sort of you're fishtailing using the emergency brake around corners, trying to avoid driving off the track or into trees or what have you. There's unfortunately no friendly Scottish person yelling directions at you while you were playing. But nonetheless, I did mess around with this for a little bit, and the driving, it's challenging but fun. It doesn't feel over the top with the difficulty, but at the same time, it does feel like you have to like there are actual driving physics there. It's not just like kind of, cartoon goofy car physics. It's striking an interesting balance there, and I was finding myself having fun with it.
You playing with a controller?
I am playing with a controller, yes.
Cool. Yeah, it looks neat. I had gotten a couple emails about it, and it seems different in a cool way.
Yeah, I think it's only on PC right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's coming to other platforms. I think it's like $25. So if you're into rally racing and want something that maybe is not just like the, hey, here's Codemasters with more realistic looking cars kind of thing, check this out. Just give it a look.
Abby Russell.
Yes.
Did you you mentioned Hades and Fortnite?
Yes.
Is there anything else you could possibly fit in?
It's been a busy week, but I've been playing a lot of Fortnite. I also re-downloaded Return of the Obra Dinn, which I beat not that long ago, but part of me is like, I don't care if I remember some of these. I just want a satisfying puzzler, I think. And that just seems like a nice one to pop into here and there. But I've been playing a lot of Fortnite. They keep I'm enjoying the Marvel stuff, even though I don't really care about like the Marvel canon. I enjoy like the superhero-y powers and getting to like hack robots, the Stark robots, and the guns they have this season is good. I think it's a crime that they got rid of the portable upgrade station. I think that was rude as hell.
Rude.
Otherwise, I'm having a great time. I spent $35 in V-Bucks the other day to buy a hot dog, or not a hot dog, a hamburger man. So that's how I'm doing. And
sure. Okay.
I've really assembled a good crew of freaks in my Fortnite game. I got a taco woman who's just the best. She's the best one. And then I have a hot dog man who is my original. And then I have now this burger guy. And then I have like this really buff like cat, but I think he's maybe too fuckable to be in my group of freaks. And then I have like this like kind of buff chicken. He's like not really buff. He's more just he's like kind of like just like thick, like a thick chicken.
You're in.
Thicken.
Nice. Okay.
What?
What's up, Jeff?
What?
No,
I want to know. I want to know.
It's like sometimes you think you hear something and you're like, nah, I didn't hear that.
About the cat?
No.
With the chicken.
I think you
like,
did.
You're like, no.
Look, if you go, what's his name? I don't know his name, but I'm not wrong.
It's okay.
Cat.
No.
Fortnite. Skin. Okay, here he is. He is called Meowsles. He is a cat with a very ripped body.
Are you
like a little kitten cat face. I wish he had paws and not human hands. The human hands, I think, make it a little too freaky.
That does make it a little weird. That makes it a little weird. I mean, it's all a little weird, but that makes it a little weird.
What's the?
Are you googling mouse?
Yeah, I'm looking right at this motherfucker.
Am I wrong?
I mean, it's a buff. It's buff.
Now Google. What is it? Meowser with Meowsith? What's the?
No.
Meow. What's the name of the cat?
Meowsles, but with meow.
Yeah, now Google Meowsles, and what's the rule? What's the internet porn?
34.
No, I am not. I'm on a work computer.
Now rule 34, and then see what comes up.
I don't like the game we're playing.
I mean,
this is no game.
It's my game of the year. Abby,
look,
Fortnite's got you.
I think y'all know what I'm saying. I'm not saying I want to fuck the cat. I'm just saying the cat is maybe too handsome.
I gotcha.
Too swole to fit in with my cast of characters who are admittedly quite odd looking.
I was gonna say ugly, maybe. If
Did you look up the taco woman? Because she's beautiful.
Taco woman?
Yeah. Search taco.
Oh boy.
Taco woman Fortnite.
God, am I just boning my fucking search?
Oh, her name is Lotta Taco. Lotta Taco?
See, that's enough to get a giggle
that
out
I'm
of me.
upset about is like the
I don't get
giant eyeballs coming out of the top of that taco. That's
I
don't like it. No,
it's the human body. Wait, what is Lotta Taco? What's the pun there?
Nothing.
Like a lot of taco?
I think it's just a lot of taco. I think that is it in a way that is dumb enough to be like, listen, we got to move on. We got to move on.
That's like a Bond thing, though. I feel like they're channeling a Bond thing. Right?
We got 30 seconds for each name. We got to move on. We got a lot of characters this season. Keep moving. What's the name of the?
I love Lotta Taco.
What are we gonna call the hamburger? Hal Burger. Got it. Just Hal. Why? What's the? I don't know. This is the first thing I came up with.
I just watched 2001.
Yeah, Hal.
It's like halfway. It's halfway between a Bond villain and like a Carmen Sandiego henchman.
Yeah.
In terms of wordplay.
Yes. They stole the
burger
Eiffel Tower.
skin is called the Beef Boss.
Yeah.
All right.
I
I'm
don't
the
love
beef
that one.
boss.
I don't love that much.
Me.
I don't love that one as much.
Sorry, Vinny.
Yeah.
What's the hot dog man? Hot dog man fort.
Patrick Klepek.
Is this fun for anyone else but me?
Just you, Abby.
Hamburger should have been a patty something, right? Like patty McBurger.
Patty mayonnaise.
Yeah.
The hot dog, he's called the brat, I think.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I can swing with that.
Yeah.
Abby,
Yes.
what else?
That's pretty much it. Like I said, we got a lot of work stuff going on. I want to get into Hades. I'm enjoying Fortnite, and that's enough for me right now.
That is, hey, listen.
Yeah.
Bacalar.
Hey.
Bacalar.
What's good, my friends?
What is good by you?
What's
What
new?
have you been playing, if anything, or what have you been up to?
So I've been playing games in a capacity that I won't talk about, but I've also been playing more Avengers.
A lot of fun.
And I've been playing a lot of Rocket League with my son. I've been playing a lot of Warzone. I mean, look, the standard fare for me. I've been doing a lot of other stuff because I have an Xbox Series X, and I've been playing around with that.
And that is as much as you are allowed to say, isn't it?
Do you have the one with the disc or the? Yeah, that's the X. Yeah.
There it is. It's right there.
Can you see? Wait, bring it
did
closer.
you put it in the shot? Are you allowed to do that?
Yes,
Oh,
he's
no.
allowed to acknowledge that it exists in his room.
You can't say anything about it. Can you talk about like it physically? Like how heavy is it?
Could you grab
He's
it?
like going over the embargo in his brain, trying to find the line.
Could you bring it over here and show it on the camera? No.
I mean, Jeff Keighley did it.
Could you do that?
I posted a photo of it on Twitter.
You did post a photo of it. Are we going to get you in trouble? Should we stop talking to you about your? You just want to use this for social media gains and then stop talking?
I mean,
about
let's be clear. This didn't fall off the back of a truck. They sent him one. Like, there's an embargo here. There's a whole thing. It's not like he got this illicitly.
Oh yeah, hey, look, I got one back there too. You can't see it. It's back there. It's
I got two.
Yeah, I'm sitting on
And
4.
I just put it right here
Off camera.
I mean,
Microsoft would probably be real mad and be like, "Did we send him the purple one? I don't get it. What happened?"
No, I fixed that. If you haven't been paying attention, yeah. I mean, so no, I have it and I'm doing stuff, and the problem is that they're not even letting us like talk about when we can
talk about it.
Tell you when it's coming.
Can I know
so soon?
Is there anything I can ask you about this?
You could ask me anything you want. I could probably answer.
Do you like it?
0.1%. Yeah.
Do you have any games, any new next gen games on it?
It's fall, but it doesn't feel like it. Let me tell you.
Are you playing GTA 5 on your new Xbox?
Actually, I'm just gonna write a note to myself here.
That's something to try out for later.
Did it beat your pinball score?
Ooh.
No.
Okay.
It sucks at pinball.
Okay.
The Xbox Series X sucks at pinball. You heard it here first. I might be breaking embargo with that one.
Not gonna like that one. They're not gonna.
I have a question. I have a question. Me. Pick me.
Yes, Abby.
Does the controller feel as nice as the Pro controller on the Xbox One X feels?
Oh. Do you mean the Elite controller? Or
it has that, like, I love the new D-pad. And I think it has that, like,
there's photos
kind
that
of
show
bold
you,
D-pad.
There's
but I
that...
want to know the weight, because the weight of it, the feeling of it is what I want.
We only trust you.
No,
Jeff?
I realize that. You have when I say
how are the triggers?
The specificity.
How's the vapor chamber?
The specificity.
Can you open it up and just show what's inside?
Yeah, that I can.
Jeff, can I come over and play it?
No. Yeah, I mean, you know what? Sure, Abby.
No.
Come on over. We'll wear masks and we'll do it outside.
Do it outside.
Great.
That's right. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, in the corner.
Does it have what's the power cord like? Is it just like a 2-prong thing in the back, like a figure 8 style thing, or is it carved? Is it one a square and one a circle?
When I say that's what means. I don't know. How can I be more clear?
Okay.
He did say yeah.
He did say, yeah, it's got a power
I said,
cord.
yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
I said,
Okay.
yeah. I
All
said,
right.
yeah. I mean, look, this is the it's a very slow burn with this.
Yeah. What did it smell like?
It was very when I took it out of the box, it
Hmm.
was very clearly touched.
I don't know what that means.
That's the thing you can talk about. You
No, like
freak?
it's a prototype. It's a non-final retail version.
Do you have to send it back?
Yes.
Damn.
Are you
gonna?
Yes, you don't want it because it's not going to be the final thing.
So
it's not the final
can
hardware.
you do everything on it though? Like, what can't you do on it because it's not final?
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alex kind of nailed it. Like I said, I know, before
Why
the show,
tease
like,
us, Jeff?
I know.
Well, I mean,
What
it's
a
better
tease.
than not. It's kind of fun.
Yeah,
Bring
I
Marty
had
back
fun.
in here. Bring your dog. Your dog's willing to show us the goods. Where's Marty? I
Marty's
saw on your
cool.
social
He
media.
could not give less of a shit.
You
about
sure
Marty.
about that? Because you won't say anything.
Is
Well, look,
Marty
Literally
soft?
too many secrets, Marty.
In due time,
Okay.
everything will be elucidated. What can I say? Like nothing. That's what I can say. Is
Okay.
nothing.
Well,
I have it. I'm playing it. I'm doing stuff with it. I found out some stuff, and that stuff
wow.
is going to come out at another time that I can't really hint at the specificity of that time. That's what
see.
I'm talking about.
That's what he's talking
Okay.
about. We're gonna talk a little bit
You saw-
more.
Did you see those the 1 terabyte expansion
We're gonna
cards
talk,
on that thing?
We're gonna
We
talk
got
about that in the
news.
news.
So there's stuff there.
There's also yes. Keep going.
No, that falls into the news section, so I'll just shut up right now.
I just saw. I'll probably have to add this. Look over this for the news during the break. But Amazon apparently just announced their streaming service. Luna.
Yeah, it's called Luna.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit. Hopefully, we'll have to do a quick read on that. Backlar, anything you can talk about or would like to talk about further? You mentioned Avengers. You mentioned some Rocket League, and you mentioned stuff you can't talk about.
Yeah, that's about it. Next week, this Sunday, I'm going to be streaming Deadpool instead of Jurassic Park. I'm going to switch to Deadpool. I'm very excited about that.
What do you mean Deadpool?
Deadpool pinball. So
Wow, how
based
do you
on
have
the
so
19
many?
yeah,
Based on the 1988 Clint Eastwood film of the same name, I assume.
that would be it. Yes.
Okay.
You have a Deadpool table?
Yep.
Damn, Jeff.
Wait, did
How many? 4?
He's got
If you watch
Jurassic-
my streams, you'd know this.
Jurassic
I'm
Park,
too
Willy
busy to
Wonka,
do that.
If you watch my streams,
the
Jurassic Park,
possessed
Willy
clown,
Wonka, Deadpool.
the
Possessed clown.
Deadpool and the possessed clown. Okay,
Yeah.
Funhouse.
Jeff, you got to get more. Uh-oh.
they want
All
to
right,
know.
Finally,
Dylan, they
ask
want to know
Dylan
how
all
many.
about the Xbox.
Come here.
Okay, can I ask you a question about the Deadpool machine?
How many
Okay.
pinball machines do we have?
4.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you heard it
that's-
here.
Four.
Yeah. All right.
That's the
Ask
Well,
him which one's his favorite.
Which one's your favorite?
Deadpool.
Wow.
Whoa.
Ask
man,
him.
refined taste.
Ask him what ports are on the back of the Xbox Series X.
Scream it.
What ports are on the back of an Xbox Series X?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
He's like a little detective.
That's
What do you
that's
mean?
my boy.
Hey, what are you trying to play at, man?
That's my boy. Keeping the
Uh,
mouth shut. He didn't even sign the NDA.
No,
How about
he
it?
did not. Ask him how the load times
He knows
are.
better.
Yeah. How do you like quick resume?
What's quicker zoom?
Yeah.
Well, he's good. Real media.
You got
trained.
it. You got it. Yep.
All right. Well, we're gonna take a quick break here. Then we're gonna come back with some news. That was if you're listening to the audio version, that was Jeff Backlar holding the microphone up to the Xbox Series X. Amazing stuff there. That was Jeff's son. How old?
I want to hear.
How old are you?
5.
Wow.
Oh, you're
Wow.
right. Okay. He
He's
almost-
okay.
almost
He's
had a
okay,
breakdown
folks.
here. He's okay.
All right, stick
He
around.
broke
We're
the
gonna,
Xbox.
we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back in a little bit. Let me cue all this stuff up and play the music. Thank you, Jeff, for sharing your family with us. That's what you say. You're welcome. And
He didn't. Oh, you're welcome. I was just.
He's
reading,
busy
I went into
beating
the,
his-
I went
Drinking
into the chat
vital
real quick,
water.
and someone's like, did he just curse?" And I'm like, "No, he didn't curse.
Oh.
What did he
All right.
said mother. He said melon farmer."
Melon
Not-
Farmer.
Mm.
Said, check out Melon Farmers over there. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. And we are back, folks. Hello, everybody. I had to mess around with some audio stuff. If you're listening to this and the audio is weird, that's my fault. I installed some stuff. I installed that Elgato game capture software, and after I installed that, all my audio went to crap.
I installed all the Elgato stuff I installed, and now I'm just used to it. But boy, is it awful.
Yeah, there's some sort of like there's a sound capture app that like
I have that too.
That like lingers around like bad news, and I don't know.
I gotta go get in there and dig some stuff out. So anyway, I was and now this was yesterday or whenever I did the Hades quick look, because I was like just trying to when I was looking at it on hey, this is a fun topic to talk about. When I was looking about it on the capture and stuff like that, it looked blurry from the Switch, but I think it's just because of the way it looks. But I had been used to seeing it on the PC, wanted to make sure I was capturing it the right way. So I installed this thing, make sure this is right, and all the drivers and all that. And then all my audio is like it's like the buffer is running out. It's all like it gets crackly and garbly, and I've gone in there and changed some of the buffer sizes and all that, but as you change buffer sizes higher, you get more delay and all that. So anyway, if the audio sounds not great on this one, I apologize, or if something weird happens. It's don't blame me. Okay, so let's move on into the news.
I wish you wouldn't do that, but okay.
Well, big news happened this week. First of all, I'm going to start off with the easy one that I feel like we all saw this one coming. The big Microsoft news. Maybe
I didn't see this coming. Let's not.
You're talking about the pre-orders?
No.
Oh, I saw this coming.
Okay, I'm going to talk about the first one.
I knew they were going to buy this.
Nope, not that one. Not that one either.
He's making.
Nope, not that one either. I'm talking about how expensive the external storage is going to be, or the storage.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. So we
did actually see this one coming.
We've talked about how 1 terabyte is probably not a lot for it's half of that for the digital one, but again, you have the probably 30% smaller sizes for the games on the Series S. On the Series X, you get 1 terabyte of internal storage. They're using new technology for the hard drives, that NVMe stuff, in the PCIe 4.0 standard. We knew it was going to be expensive. I don't know if I was ready for the $220 price point for the 1 terabyte external stuff, but it is
not steep.
It's not required, and you have other options.
It's not required. Do you have other options?
What are the other options?
From what I gather, is there not a USB 3.1 way to do everything?
You cannot play. You can bring USB 3.0 over for legacy stuff. You cannot play Xbox X, quote unquote, optimized or anything that is supposed to be take advantage of the Series X on USB 3.0. You can play your old stuff, but you cannot play anything. I think their wording is Xbox X Series X optimized.
Well, that's fucking garbage.
No, that's the way it should be, because it's, that's how this stuff works. That's the architecture they're working with here, and we kind of knew it was going to be expensive. This is not out of line for what these devices go for. Sony is the only thing that troubles me with this really is as the prices go down. This is proprietary, and I believe who is making this for them? Seagate. I think Seagate and Microsoft are teamed up for a proprietary device for external storage. So this is the one Microsoft says you have to get your 1 terabyte of extra storage. Sony has a chart that will allow you to use basically with anybody who's worked in a PC world for a while, their list of verified vendors and products, and you can use what they deem compatible or tested, which might allow for in the future flexibility on the pricing as memory pricing goes down and hard drive pricing goes down.
Right. This Seagate thing ain't going to drop in price right anytime soon.
Not in the immediate future, no.
Yeah. So
I think the story here, it's actually kind of interesting with them, because you had a point in time where they would only let you get those hard drives, remember, that fit on the top of the 360?
Yes, I do remember those.
Yeah.
And then Xbox One was bring your own storage.
Right.
And now we're back into like this proprietary thing.
Well, it's especially interesting considering the way Sony has gone with this stuff, which is to say that they are just doing SSDs, and I assume at some point they will. And I don't actually know what their extension plans are. I haven't looked too deeply into it, but I mean, I assume at some point, someone will figure out a way to be like, well, what if you just put a bigger SSD in that thing? And then people will do that, because that's certainly what I did with the PS4, and that worked out just fine.
Hey, I just want to. Is my audio okay?
Yeah, you're
it's starting to
crackling.
chunk up.
Bad.
You're starting to
crackling.
chunk up now.
It's not good.
Bad.
It's
It
bad.
wasn't bad before. It is now.
Sounds like
Okay.
you like rubbed a bunch of socks on the carpet and then started touching your microphone. You know what I mean?
Spoke
Is it
ill
bad
of
if I'm
the
here?
sound
Is it
capture.
still bad now? Is it bad?
It's still
Yeah,
bad
it's
now.
bad.
It's anytime you speak.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm gonna try and fix a thing here. Hey everybody, am I bad? Oh crap! this
We'll
is
let
gonna
you
break
know when
everything.
you're not bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep talking. Sorry to have to do this live. That stinks.
Have you
How-
considered not talking?
Vinny,
How about
consider
now? Is it still bad?
It's
better,
better.
but
What did you do?
keep going.
Hey,
I'm
check
more
1, 2,
curious.
1, 2, 3, 4. Is this
Oh yeah.
better for
Like a
now?
little pop here and there, but nothing,
Yeah,
not as bad as it was.
It's better.
Okay. Can I go with this for a little bit?
Yeah, I think you can go with this for a little bit.
Okay.
What was it? Now I need to know.
No, I'm just changing like I said, I'm just changing around
The
some
audio
of
buffer?
the way I'm taking in my microphone through WDM and MME. Hopefully this
yeah,
is
you're getting a
better.
little, you're getting a
It's
tiny
still
bit
there.
of popping, but it's not
It's not as
fully
bad.
gone. But yeah,
Oh, so of course it's right at the top of the show. I don't want to take another break to fix it. But
Let's
I'll
just
try.
keep powering through.
I'll try one more thing here, and let me know if this changes it. Sorry for the live business here. Hold on to your butts. Here we go. Nobody talk. And how is this? Is this worse? Better? Is this
You
keep
sound
going.
good.
good? I'm gonna stay here for a little bit. I'm gonna live here for a
Yeah,
little
you
while.
sound good, Vinny.
Okay, I'm gonna
I
stay
like
here.
it.
Stay here for a little bit, and then hopefully I'll take another look at it. Sorry, every time I change that, I have to stop my local recording and then start it again. So that's a really fun thing to keep in this podcast. So anyway,
Enjoy editing that later.
yeah.
Please just
Yeah.
it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
So anyway,
No, hard drives.
hard drives. I feel like we saw the cost of this coming, obviously, because the cost of the of what these things are, this technology. It's what enables a lot of this functionality in Xbox Series X. Anyway, $220 for that. I hope you guys talked about, while I was crackling over there, a bit of what happened with the old Xbox 360 hard drive stuff and the proprietary business there, where those 250 gig hard drives felt way overpriced for too long. I hope that doesn't happen with this Seagate stuff. I hope they follow the price trends a little bit more closely.
Yeah, this is
Well,
annoying.
If this console generation is any indication for me, I'm sure I will never upgrade, and simply after like 3 months into having it, will just constantly be juggling like, well, I guess I'll delete this game, but I would like to go back to it. So I guess I'll delete that one. Just do that forever.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that you don't have to have this in the way that you just said, Abby, where you can just juggle, storage, and presumably everything's going to be a lot zippier, like I said last week. So maybe the idea of like, mass deleting and purging stuff is not as tumultuous as it is now, but I don't know.
That remains to be seen. I feel like a lot of eyes are going to be on when the first Series X, not exclusive, but made for Series X game comes out at 4K.
What's that hard drive space going to look like?
What does that look like? Is that game coming in at 100 gigs, or is that game coming in at whatever? So we'll keep an eye on that. Like I said, the price seemed comparable. I think an article I was reading said the Evo 980 Pro SSD is coming in at, I think it was a Polygon article, said about $230, but those prices will go down over time.
Right. I'll say this. This thing's super small too.
It's small.
I like how tiny
Yeah.
it is. It's cool.
It looks like a memory card.
So
It's also, I'm curious to see it sitting next to a PS5, because I like the look of the new Xboxes. They seem small. They seem like they would look okay on a shelf somewhere. I still wish it was like a flat box, since that's what every TV stand seems to be designed for, but whatever.
Mhm.
But like, I'm curious to see that next to like a PlayStation, which seems like it's much larger and will not fit comfortably anywhere because it's all like wibbly
Yeah.
wobbly.
Yeah.
I mean,
we'll
there's
see.
something to be said for the just
The statement
batshit
piece.
design of the PS5.
Yeah, I'm kind of into it. But
I mean, as much as I agree, I think the militarized Alexa design of the Series X is maybe a little more compact. At least that PS5 is striking. It's not good, but it's striking.
it's gonna be a thing that people are gonna come into your house and be like, "What's that?" Which that's fun.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, "What's that? Why is it? Ugh, this looks gross. Why is it so dusty? It's like brown."
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever clean this thing? The other thing I would like to mention before we bop off of the hard drive stuff is I think the most shocking thing, even expecting a high price point, is that's like the cost of the Series S. Like that.
Yep.
I know.
The price of that hard drive is about the cost of the Series S, give or take. But
It's like $70 difference or something.
That's something. And so I don't know, what the cost in the bulk manufacturing of this is, how they're manufacturing those hard drives internally, if they're soldered onto the boards, and if that's different than the whole thing. But if there's already a $200 plus hard drive sitting in that thing, what is the cost of this for Microsoft? Again, economies of scale change this. They're not just putting one of these in there. The final thing I wanted to say is interesting tactics for Microsoft and Sony. Microsoft gets rid of some of the confusion angle for what you can use with your system. You won't have to worry about which one to buy to work. You buy the one that works, which is kind of a different story with their naming convention, as there's a couple of stories out there now about who bought a Series X.
They found confusion elsewhere.
Yeah, and Sony kind of going out the route of, hey, you can buy which one you want, but we'll try and keep it a list of approved devices, which could lead to some people buying some and as these things become more available and not working as intended, or maybe not working at all. So we'll see how that shakes out. More Microsoft news. Microsoft out there making moves. They bought Bethesda. They bought ZeniMax.
They sure did.
What's
ZeniMax
the story here?
Media. They bought
ZeniMax Media.
What's the price? What happened here?
$7.5 billion.
Oh, it's like CNET money.
Well,
it's not.
It's not.
Yeah, it's actually 14.5 times the CNET money.
Just to put that into perspective, Disney paid $4 billion for Marvel, and basically they paid $4 billion for Marvel and $4 billion for LucasArts.
Mm-hmm.
So like
That's
this
crazy.
is almost as much as those two acquisitions, which
they
is
really wanted to have
batshit
Fallout
crazy.
76. They were desperate to get Fallout 76 into their family of brands.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot.
Turns
of
out
money.
video games are a big deal, you guys.
It's a lot of money. There's also a lot of games. Like this is it's a game changer, so to speak. These are going to be at least timed exclusives for the Xbox.
So they said game by game.
Yeah, which is just
But I would think, because I feel like when you look at because that's always what people argue is like the PlayStation lineup, like even for the last couple generations, like the exclusives I think have been more exciting than the Xbox exclusives. But this is, I feel like like this would make me pause a little bit of like, well, I do like Bethesda games, like.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think if they are exclusive to the Xbox, like that is definitely. I want to play the new Skyrim.
But in a lot of cases, they will be exclusive to the Xbox and the PC. Like that is that is the Microsoft plan going forward. And I imagine that Bethesda being the PC focused developer that they are, like that stuff will probably be coming out day and date. Whereas a lot of those Sony exclusives don't make their way to PC until Sony has decided that they are no longer the system seller.
Sure, but I think if you are a person who's like, well, I want a PC, or I want a PS5, or I want an Xbox.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter so much where if it's going to the PC, because it's like which games are on which. You know what I mean?
There's also the somebody reminded me of this online in one of the stories here. The scale of distribution, right, on some of these games. Like these are big games that take a lot of money to make. You kind of want to get that out there on as many platforms as possible to recoup cost on these.
Right.
So Bethesda does not necessarily make. They have huge teams. Their games are big. Fallouts, the Skyrims, the other games they
Doom.
I mean, if we're getting into the conversation of exclusivity,
rage,
which is the thing everyone wants to talk about, and which no one, truly knows the definitive final answer.
No.
But to your point of like scale and all that stuff, to lock up exclusivity is one thing, but you're gonna want these games of like you can now make money off these games from your competition. Okay, put that in your mind. Also put in your mind that like Microsoft does not seem overly concerned about selling Xboxes. Like they definitely want to sell
Series
Xboxes.
X.
Yeah, but more importantly, they want you to pay them $15 a month for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And that is what it comes down to. I also think maybe, I don't know, the honeymoon of paying $15 a month for the rest of your, like, maybe that's not $15 a month in a year and a half. Maybe that like, look at Netflix, look at what that costs. Look at how that goes up in price after a while. It's tough to ignore the fact that a lot of these all you can eat sort of, a la carte services, they kind of start ticking back up.
Well,
like, I'm looking at YouTube TV, like it is that, don't discount that too. I personally don't think Microsoft will be making Bethesda games universally exclusive to PC and Xbox. That is my opinion.
You think some of those games will come to PS4 or Switch or whatever?
I think most of them will, because again, you are leaving money on the table.
Yeah.
You just spent $7.5 billion on this publisher and all of the developers that roll into this conglomerate. Like, you're to close off a huge chunk of your game buying audience just does not seem very forward thinking. Because of the universality of the product that they are offering, right? Like, they're offering a piece. It's it's a PC thing too. And they're offering a service.
And I think you're leaving off a big part, not intentionally, but like you said, a lot of the services stuff. These games also sell through on DLC and cosmetics and
exactly
all those things that they will get those platform holders will take their cut, but in the end, Microsoft and Microsoft Game Studios will get them.
Maybe we see this show up in a way where, like, oh wow, Switch and PS5 Bethesda games are digital only. Like, maybe that's something. I don't know. Like,
I mean, Microsoft has been out there trying to get their services part on other platforms like Switch, and and kind of going out there for the last 2 or 3 years, kind of being the ones to play nice and say, hey, we'll get you our services angle on your platform. Microsoft is out there making, like, no hyperbole intended here, like, pretty big moves. Like, this is a big merger or acquisition, and putting in, maybe not as big a deal, but like rolling in that EA Origin stuff into Game Pass. This is like they are building a fairly attractive offering here. If you're out there in this industry, in this bubble, looking at this, what are the optics outside of here to the general consumer staring at a PS5 or an Xbox One in their Series X? Sorry, damn you, Microsoft. PS5 or an Xbox Series X in their shopping cart on Go Time on Amazon when you can get them eventually. I don't know if all that comes through. I don't know if that's like really messaged that well out there.
But that's the thing though, is that like all of these moves, with a couple of rare exceptions, an average consumer is not going to see the benefit of those moves for at least a couple of years, because most of these studios they've been buying and most of these publishers, or in this case the publisher that they are buying, like, most of the games they are making will not bear fruit for Microsoft specifically for another year or two. And so, like, basically unless you're plugged in the way, the online gamer is, if you're just looking at a box to buy, you can say that, like, oh, they bought all these studios. Like, okay, cool. What am I playing on this right now? And obviously Game Pass does alleviate that somewhat. But I think that, like, these moves are for the future. These moves are essentially trying to bolster a lineup that had atrophied over time, which is to say the games that are there for the Microsoft platform, whether it is Xbox or PC.
But they have specifically said they're just going to add these to Game Pass. They're adding the Bethesda lineup to Game Pass, which again, if you're out there in front,
they could have done without buying.
They could have,
like, there's a deal they could have struck that did not involve them buying the entire company to make that happen.
I just think Microsoft spending a lot of money, but also I don't think in that wasteful of ways. Well, it'll be, we'll go see in the future, but this is the kind of stuff you do to lock up a market, to try and get ahead in a market.
I also think it's an intimidating power move. Like, I don't think Sony could do this. I don't think maybe, Sony could spend $7.5 billion
right,
like tomorrow on, I don't know what else is left now. I mean, I feel like this is
Well, Sega has been the one that everyone has kicked around forever as like someone's going to buy them, and for a long time, Microsoft was the rumor of that, legitimate or not. And I do think that someone could go out there and purchase Sega and continue to support those games, under a particular platform holder brand. But I don't think Sony's going to be the one to do it. I think Nintendo or Microsoft are much more likely suitors for that. But also I haven't really seen any indication that there's anything real to any of those rumors. It seems like a lot of people being like, we want someone to buy Sega for some reason. I don't know why, just because to save them from themselves. I don't know. They're doing fine.
Like could you see tomorrow Sony to buy Take-Two Interactive, right?
Like Take-Two's got Rockstar, and Rockstar basically prints money every time they release a game. Like I
just saying, that's the thing. Like
I feel like, I mean, Take-Two could jettison most everything. I don't want to say that for the developers, but like I feel like as long as they have Rockstar, like that's that look at
it would be it would also be way more than $7.5 billion. But my point being, like, could you see them doing that?
I get anything's possible. Is Ubisoft too big a bubble, too big a dot on that map to be absorbed by anybody? They feel very big. I don't know what their revenue stream is like, but they feel like they are doing okay, and they feel like a big point on that scale. EA also feels very big. I don't know if they're one to get gobbled up. I feel like the Warner Games could maybe go at some point.
Well, they were being shopped at some point, weren't they? I think that was the rumor going around that AT&T was trying to get out from under that brand, but I don't know where any of that went.
So yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. There's a lot of smaller studios, but Microsoft already, was it 2 E3s ago when they had their big list of like, hey, we acquired 5 of these studios. We're just bringing them in house.
It was actually 1 E3 ago. It was just 2 years ago because we didn't get an E3 this year.
So yeah, I don't know. It's I'm not a huge fan of consolidation like this. I think at some point, I think the consumer loses out a bit on some of this stuff where Microsoft obviously is going to spin this proposition as very good for people who have Xbox, but or in the Xbox ecosystem. But all things under one roof, the megacorp stuff is
yeah, it's 23 studios now.
It's it's a little weird. And
I haven't done the math, but how many are under Sony? I would it's not 23, right?
When you say 23, what does that mean? What do you
like their Microsoft's sort of
oh, their umbrella?
They're now like their first party essentially lineup of studios.
Yeah. That's
and a lot of it is in the last 5 years.
I mean, they said that Bethesda is going to run semi-autonomously within the Microsoft organization. Like, they are not going to blow up their corporate structure. It sounds like, I mean, I'm sure they will at some point reorganize some things, but by and large, it sounds like they want Bethesda to continue to exist as Bethesda. But I mean, I don't really know what that's going to mean for the long term, because like at some point, Microsoft's going to be like, hey, we need you guys to do this and we own you, so do this. I don't know what semi-autonomous actually means within the context of Microsoft.
Right.
Do you know what happens with
it's roughly like 13 or so studios, is by my quick take count.
Okay.
Maybe you should take 2. Dude, what happens? Oh boy, he's turning purple again, folks. What happens with stuff that's published by Bethesda? Like, have we had clarification on that? Like, does Bethesda own Arcane? Like, are they coming with?
I believe they do.
I believe the way they are structured, it's complicated because it's sort of like a snake eating its own tail in a weird way. It's ZeniMax is like the holding thing.
Yeah.
But Bethesda Softworks is the publisher for all of those things. Bethesda GameWorks is the developer, right? If you're following.
I'm following.
So it's sort of like the name Bethesda plays, wears 2 hats as a publisher and a developer. And the publishing arm of all those ZeniMax owned developers comes out of Softworks.
Okay. Bethesda Softworks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could have just made that up. That sounded pretty good.
Yeah, I'm just going to nod my head and say, okay. So what I'm saying is we'll get Deathloop, Microsoft's Deathloop.
I mean, yeah. So if you, I mean, you were gonna Xbox and PC people were gonna get Deathloop anyway. You were just gonna get it a little later. You're gonna get it a little later anyway because they're honoring that timed exclusive.
Yeah, because that was I think Deathloop was a timed exclusive for PS5.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still is.
It still is. Yeah. They're
Okay.
honoring that, and what's the other one?
Ghostwire, I think, is the other one.
Ghostwire.
Yeah. All right. So that was Microsoft buying out Bethesda. Big moves. Hey, folks, we live in interesting times. Microsoft announcing the price of their Seagate proprietary storage device. There was another Microsoft thing, wasn't there?
Well, they had the pre-orders this week.
Oh, the pre-orders.
They
Yes,
finally
yes.
went live. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody got one.
And
right?
as everyone has suspected, it went completely smoothly. Definitely no
That's it.
issues. Definitely
End of
no
the story.
retail sites fucking dying in front of people. It all went great.
Did anybody who wanted one get one?
No.
I mean,
Alex, you did, right?
wanted is a very relative term. Anyone who thought maybe it would be the responsible thing as a professional in the video game industry to own one got one. Yes, I did.
Okay.
I
you did get
the
one.
more we
Yeah.
Okay.
the more we talk about it every week, I'm like, maybe I'll try to order a PS5. But also, it seems so stupid right now. My play
It is.
like
I think
why?
I
Why?
think it's not a great time to buy a new console.
I think it's only a good time if you don't have this generation. Like, if you don't have this generation, get the newest one. If you do, wait a few months, is my take on it.
I am very curious to see if in early November, late October, if those who want to purchase one of these can go on their retailer of choice or go to physically their retailer of choice, if the case may be, and just get one for either of these. I cannot tell. To be honest with you, professionalism aside of whether I should have one for work or not, I cannot
throw
tell.
that shit out the window.
I cannot tell if I am making excuses if I say I don't have the time to sit there and refresh browsers and go do the chase down of stuff, or if I just don't want to make that time a priority for me. Because
I think both seem pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I
it
agree.
could be.
For my thoughts.
Yeah, it could very well be. I just like, would I make the time if I felt more strongly about this and just be like, I'll be up for dinner in an hour. I'm refreshing Target, or like one of those things. Or like, sorry, I can't help you with your schoolwork. Wario 64 is posting all sorts of things right now. Like, I don't know if I would be doing that if I were really champing at the bit to get this thing.
Can I just say something real quick about this whole really, really positive consumer shopping experience online? That's really been a great thing. People are asking me, like, why don't they fix this? Why isn't it better? And I don't know if I have an answer for that. I think at the end of the day, there's almost close to no incentive to fix it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, okay, we spent millions of dollars to fix this, and we sold the same amount of Xboxes and same amount of PlayStations.
Well, and then again, like, the exception of the Microsoft Store, which is obviously their responsibility, it's not their job to make other retailers' websites go. Like, they can. What they can do is give you the time and date that these pre-orders are supposed to go live. And then obviously they could probably nudge those retailers and be like, hey, it'd be great if your servers didn't fuck up. But like, they have no recourse over this other than to say, well, you guys fucked up. But that's the thing, is that like every retailer buckled, all of them. Microsoft's own store was buckling, and that's where I ended up getting my pre-order. But even that was not a particularly smooth experience.
But I think there's you guys you're both absolutely right. I think there's a bit of knowing what or trying to predict the demand and what the stock and what the inventory is going to be like when these things come out, and being able to message that, like, right, if Microsoft or Sony were able to say very confidently, we'll have fresh stock coming in a month, do not pay scalper prices, if you did not get one, we expect to meet most demand by at least the end of the year, right? I think there's a bit of confidence in making some of that. But again, is there incentive to do that? I don't know. Is there more incentive to have a feeding frenzy of like, oh my gosh, as soon as this goes up, I gotta go get one? Like Abby said, the more that fear of missing out comes up, and the more of like, will I ever be able to get one? The more maybe people are going to be out there. If somebody sent me a link right now to a PS5 or Xbox Series X, I would probably pre-order it. Like, hey, I know where
me
one is.
too.
You know, and it's mostly because even though I might be on the fence about either of those systems, it's mostly because the uncertainty moving forward, and that's crappy. And this isn't new for this console generation. This happens in other places, but I do feel like I was pretty easily able to get an Xbox One and a PS4 when those went up in August, around August.
Yeah.
I remain kind of optimistic for late 2020 as well in terms of availability. Unfortunately, you do also have to take into consideration the flipping community, which
is that what we're calling them these days?
they sound great. They just sound great. But yeah, that's definitely a thing too. I'm curious to understand like our current dynamic, how that shapes that angle of the whole thing. But yeah,
please don't buy scalper prices on this stuff. I mean, well, listen, it's your money, do whatever the hell you want. But Microsoft and Sony want to get these consoles in your hands. It's not like they will never be out on store shelves. I think it's a lot of timing stuff. Like, will you have one by launch? I think is what most people would be concerned about in this thing. Will you get one middle of February, January next year? I could almost guarantee the stock will at some point, hopefully. Listen, we live in the fucking worst times. Who knows what's going to happen, right? There could be suddenly the next shipment of PS5s, it's on its way over, and oh no, suddenly a chasm opened up in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
Megalodon
we didn't know it existed, and like, oh, thank goodness everybody's okay. But 600,000 PS5s vanished into a portal in 20 at the end, near the end of 2020.
Lucky them.
Yes, the people on Venus, the farting aliens on Venus opened a portal to extract PS5.
I got that reference.
Thank you very much. Everybody keeping up with the news. Opened their
Yeah.
portal and they just said, "We're gonna one more 2020 goof here. One more. We'll check this one out." They'll never believe it.
Oh man, I not that I did a video like last week or so about comparing these two things, and like my average advice especially to the people who are in my orbit is like, just wait. I understand, like I'm with you, like I get the sort of butterflies in the tummy. If I wasn't doing this for my job, I would definitely 100% be waiting, no doubt about it. Like I can comfortably and honestly say that is how I'd be playing this.
You're going to be able to buy 17 Seagate 1 terabyte Xbox Series X. Those things are going to go into a store. It's going to be, all the controllers are gone.
Yeah, man.
All the consoles are gone. And just a stack of those Seagate drives just sitting there.
We could fit 1,000 of them in a box.
You know what though? You're going to get them home. You're going to open them up and they're going to be full of spiders. Yeah, that's just 2020.
That's right.
That's 2020.
Or no, you're going to plug it in finally after you get your Xbox Series X, and it's going to cause the thing to like lock up and be like, "Oh, we were so close. Sorry, we messed that one up." All right, that's Microsoft in a nutshell, folks. Let's talk about Sony for a bit here. We're giving Microsoft a bit of a time here.
They did something.
Let's give everyone a time.
Yeah,
no one is free from scorn.
Let's talk about Sony and their messaging around the Miles Morales stuff that is coming to Spider-Man, the Spider-Man stuff. So it's not okay. I'm going to say this up front. It's not that confusing, but I feel like it has been made confusing. Sony's statement on this stuff this is the Miles Morales not standalone Spider-Man expansion. It is now pretty much confirmed that this is basically DLC if you have the Spider-Man game.
But wait, I thought it was still sold separately.
Yeah, I thought it was sort of similar to, I thought it was like a half step. I thought it was similar to like that Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Here we go.
Where it's like, this ain't like the fullest of full games, but it's still a game, stands alone.
So hold on. I gotta work through this. I want to make sure I'm not misrepresenting this. We're gonna go through this. Players with a copy of Marvel Spider-Man for PS4 can purchase Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition to experience Marvel Spider-Man Remastered on the PS5.
What? What?
Yeah, what is right?
Marvel
Huh?
Spider-Man for
Hang on.
PS4 will also be backwards compatible on the PS5.
But is this the Miles Morales or is this Marvel Spider-Man? Because I think the Miles Morales thing, from my understanding, is if you get it for your PS4 and you want to play it on your PS5, you can, but you have to pay extra to have like the nice looking PS5 upgraded edition.
Yeah, there's a Spider-Man remastered, the enhanced edition of Spider-Man that is on the PS5. That includes okay. Hold on, I'm going to read their statement. Marvel Spider-Man remasters an enhanced version of Marvel Spider-Man and is included as part of the Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition on the PS5. Okay. In addition, players who purchase Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales on the PS4 standalone thing. Sorry, let me correct myself. That is the standalone thing.
It is a standalone.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted just
PS4,
to make sure that was absolutely clear.
Can upgrade at no additional cost to the PS5 version of Spider-Man Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales and take advantage of a paid upgrade to download the Spider-Man remaster. Okay, let me parse this out. Standalone version of Miles Morales on PS4, you get the free version at no additional cost of the PS5 version of the standalone version of Spider-Man Miles Morales, right? This is what I'm understanding from this.
Okay.
And then you can do a paid upgrade to get Spider-Man remastered.
Okay.
Okay. Right.
This sucks, man. This fucking sucks.
Okay. I don't think it's as confusing as they're making it out to be. I think, okay, let me back up because I misread it at first. You buy the standalone version on PS4. You can play the
Miles Morales.
Yeah, Miles Morales. You can buy you can play the PS5 version at no additional cost. You can then do a paid upgrade to get the remastered version of Spider-Man on PS5.
Of the previous game. Yes.
Of the previous game.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So wait, if I bought Miles Morales on my PS4 and then I get a PS5, I can play Miles Morales, the nice shiny version on my PS5, but if I want to play the nice shiny version of the other Spider-Man game for my PS5, I pay a little extra.
You pay a paid upgrade for that.
Okay, that I'm okay with.
I mean, I don't love that, but that does clarify it at the very least.
It's like you're getting a whole other game, right?
And then if you have Spider-Man on PS4, separate thought train, you can buy the Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition to experience Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered on PS5.
So they want to just let you play it however they want you to play both games. So it's like if you have one game, you get a discount on the other one.
Spider-Man for PS4 will be backwards compatible on PS5. So if you have Spider-Man on PS4, you can play the non-remastered version on PS5. If you have Spider-Man PS4 and you want to play the remastered edition, you can buy the Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is obviously not the only game that has these shenanigans going on around it as to whether you're getting a remastered version or upgraded graphics or what have you, depending on which platform that you're on. It just feels like it didn't have to be this way, man. It really didn't have to be this way. There's so many layers you could have removed from this whole thing to just be like, you own Spider-Man, you buy Miles Morales, you get it on both platforms. Bingo, bango, bongo, done. They could have done that, but they're not doing that.
I also think the way their official rep is messaging some of this stuff is adding uncertainty in a place where maybe it doesn't have to be. And I understand that calling these things, the names of the things themselves, Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition, Spider-Man Remastered, Miles Morales, Spider-Man Miles Morales. I think saying those words too many times is not great, especially for me on this podcast.
I think we're at the point now where like this is starting to interfere with like how I can enjoy this game. I feel like we're reaching
just annoyed at it.
Yeah. In all honesty, the more we talk about it, the more I'm like, maybe I will get a PS5 and then finish the original Spider-Man.
Where you're just like, I don't know. It's like going out to eat and you hear about this dessert and like they're like, oh, but the dessert it's gonna do all these. You're gonna shit yourself after, but it's gonna be great. I don't know. I feel like
I'm not sure I follow that metaphor, but okay.
Maybe it's not the best, but like, come on, let's just get the message.
I think it
either.
feels a little bit like the more nonsense you speak about it, the more it's like if I play it in reverse, it's just like buy a PS5, buy a PS5. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like it's like
Subliminal.
subliminal. It's like it's confusing me into be like, here's my credit card. I don't know.
I don't understand, but
Yeah.
$400 just left my wallet.
I think there is truth. I mean, there are definitely going to be people out there who be like, it's not that hard. You just pay $70, you get the remastered version. I think the way they're expressing this stuff
The
is
wording is bad.
bonkers. I think that it is bad.
Yeah.
I said this. I was talking to Brad before we were off camera. We were talking about Microsoft versus Sony and the drives and who's in a better spot. If you just do the Seagate one, that's like just buy this one, or if you do Sony's thing, that's like here's a chart. And I was saying like anytime you have to pull the chart out for anything,
Never a good
Sure.
sign.
it's never a great sign. Is it that confusing in the end? Will you know if you have Spider-Man and buy this, whether you're going to get it? Probably. But the way they're messaging some of this stuff, I don't think it does them any favors.
Yeah.
Like,
Look, I
there-
still want to play Miles Morales. It's just that I just don't want to have to think this hard about it. I really don't.
I think you buy. I mean, you have a PS5 pre-order, so when you'll play Miles Morales either on your PS5 or your PS4. I think buy it on your. If you want to play Spider-Man Remastered, you're gonna have to pay the money on your PS5. If for you, Alex, you own Spider-Man already, just buy Miles Morales. You'll be able to play it on the PS5 or PS4. You just won't be able to play Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Remastered.
I'm going to do that. I already played Spider-Man. I don't need to play the other Spider-Man again. I'm
There you
good.
go.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
so-
like, how much could they possibly remaster it? That game came out 2 years ago. Like, what
That's
are we
right.
doing?
I don't know. Maybe
It's a good point.
I like that game a lot.
Did they add Queens?
Nice.
No? Okay.
Light and load times. So yeah, I think that stuff is goofy. It's goofy. Do you guys, who here remembers? And this will never leave my mind. I brought it up here. This will be till the day I'm done talking on this microphone. The Mass Effect, BioWare, and their pre-order bonuses.
I
The
have some
retail
recollection.
exclusive pre-order bonuses. The Matrix that had to come out for what armor you get, what DLC you had to get. How do you get this up? Oh, if you pre-order from GameStop, if you pre-order from here, that thing was unbelievable.
It seems. Sounds
I
familiar.
feel like they had some bullshit. I feel like there was a lot of Batman bullshit with WB where there were charts involved and similar pre-order things. I feel like WB was actually at the forefront of making their pre-order situation as confusing as humanly fucking possible for a while there. So it's good to see other companies finally following suit.
Like I said, I think this isn't that bad. It is just the wording of this in the context of also Xbox or Microsoft trying to be like, hey man, you buy the game, you play wherever you want. I think there's a lot of contrast here, and there's a lot of energy, let's say, being consumed in talking about moving into transitioning. Do we need these? What's happening here? And I think that's just all kind of storming up to make this a little worse than it is, but it's still, you got to get out there and have some clear language on this stuff.
Yeah.
It's not great.
All right. What else is going on in the news? So we didn't talk about this last time. I'll just mention it briefly here, very short bit, just to bring Nintendo into the mix. Nintendo, the 3DS is discontinued. Surprise.
It's a good little console. It had a really good life.
3DS, fantastic console.
Strong library.
I think
one of the best.
I agree with you. I think one of the best. I think hell of a console. And
I even like the 3D.
Yeah, another
I thought it
console
was
though
nice.
that had a bad start that got going. It was not a
This
good
is
launch.
true. I do remember this.
It did not sell itself well. The 3D and some of those early games absolutely did not avail itself of the player. But they got there, and I think
Took a while to become a must buy.
Totally, but then it did.
Yep,
and
definitely.
I'm assuming again. I don't remember this from last week when I pulled this, but I think that means the 2DS as well is the end of that line, right? I assume they're not just transitioning.
I would
out of
assume
there.
so.
No, the 2DS will live on.
I don't know. They made a 2DS, so I could believe it. They made a thing called a 3DS, and then we're like, 2DS. Yeah, heck of a console. Good job, Nintendo. Go buy those.
Yeah.
On eBay now. We did Spider-Man. We did the drives. Microsoft, Bethesda. Alex, what's happening with Blizzard or ex-Blizzard folks?
Yeah, so maybe some of the other guys who are a little more familiar with the Blizzard oeuvre can kind of chime in here. But I do know this name, Mike Morhaime, former CEO of Blizzard. He has started a new company. It is called Dreamhaven.
Nice.
And it is a cadre of different Blizzard developers that have worked on StarCraft, that worked on World of Warcraft, have worked on Hearthstone, and all that fun stuff. So it's actually two studios, Moonshot Games and Secret Door, that I believe are working on separate projects, but they will be united under this Dreamhaven banner, and they'll be making some games.
Morhaime was there forever at Blizzard.
Yeah.
Like 30 years or something. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of people keeping an eye on what comes out of those teams. They made
the thing I'm potentially most interested in here, depending on how these teams decide to scale themselves, is how many people are currently looking to get the fuck out of Blizzard right now, because is the smoke on the street is that things are not super great over there. And,
oh, really? I hadn't heard much about that.
There was a story going around earlier this year about some devs who work there, like kind of low level, having to sleep in their cars because they just straight up could not afford rent in the Irvine, California area. And I don't know, like my understanding is that there's been, a bit of a leadership vacuum there, and people are not super thrilled with the current state of that studio. So I don't know, maybe this is Blizzard.
I assume. I mean, their games are still. I mean, I know WoW has crested a while ago in terms of revenue, but Overwatch, I assume, still does well and makes money.
Yeah, I mean, you juxtapose that with how much money they've spent trying to turn it into an esport, and with a degree of success, though maybe not the success that they were necessarily looking for. But they threw a whole lot of money at that Overwatch League stuff, and they are, still working on Overwatch 2, which by all accounts is going to be a lot like Overwatch 1. But yeah, I don't know. Like, the fact that they haven't really shown anything from Overwatch 2 is maybe a little concerning. I don't know.
I do imagine there is an office somewhere with a lot of broken glass on the floor and like little like emergency things, and one says, a break in case of emergency StarCraft, break in case of emergency Diablo, break in case of emergency, and they're all kind of shattered, and there's just nothing. There's just a hole in the wall with a hammer next to it. They kind of are, it says rock and roll racing, and nobody wants to touch it or whatever. Or what do they have left?
Well, Diablo is upcoming.
No, I mean like in terms of their old franchises.
Oh, more StarCraft.
Okay. No.
And I'm not the Blizzard guy, so someone else has to chime in here.
Lost Vikings. Thanks, chat. Lost Vikings out there. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like listen, they still make great games. The teams there are. I enjoy the products they put out, but per this story, looking forward to seeing what comes out of here. In the future here, and we'll see if it's going to line up with any of this new console stuff that this just announced. All right. Anything else?
One more thing here. So Among Us, you guys have all played it. I've watched you play it. I haven't played it myself, but it seems like
you should play more of it.
It seems like a stressful delight. So as is known, the reputation now, Among Us has been out for a while and then suddenly got very, very popular during the course of the pandemic. The devs of Among Us had apparently been working on a sequel to Among Us that they were planning to release prior to streamers getting a hold of it and deciding it was the best thing. So now they are essentially canceling, or at least mothballing, that project, and they are going to do, basically they're going to work on trying to implement a bunch of the stuff they wanted to do for Among Us 2 in Among Us 1, since people are currently buying that game. Okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a refocus, right? I mean, that game's been out for 2 years, really, kind of.
I believe so, yeah.
And that tracks. Makes sense to me.
Yeah. And, they go on, I believe in the story that I was reading on Polygon, they said that this is actually the more difficult option for them because they essentially have to go back into the game's code and rework a whole bunch of stuff in a way that they wouldn't if they were just building a new game. But, I mean, they've captured the lightning. Now they just gotta work with it. So
it's so wild. I have real empathy for, not even sympathy, empathy for people trying to put their games out and what's going to catch and what's not. I mean, there's hey, you make a good game, you hope it does really well, but stuff that is multiplayer, I just sometimes feel I don't know all the machinations involved in getting these things to catch fire, and they all seem like a lost art, or not, a dark art of oh, hey, we got lucky. Maybe it's not luck. Maybe you pay a really prolific streamer to play your game and enjoy it. I don't know. Maybe they don't. Maybe they just like it. Maybe, because if nobody's playing your online game, you're kind of dead in the water. And so that really, after the whole team spent, we've seen this again and again. Like sometimes the thing goes up, it's good for a week, and then nobody's online playing it. So
yeah. But that's the thing, is that, like, it's all about sustainability, right? Like, they were able, despite the fact that Among Us did not, sell like gangbusters right out of the gate, they were still able to keep supporting that game and keep it kind of in the mix at the very least until, someone struck gold on it. But like a lot of these other games that are like more, production heavy and a lot more top heavy, like they don't have that long runway to go. Like they basically have to capture an audience right away. Otherwise, they're kind of fucked.
Right. So
that's, yeah.
Imagine them being like, things are going okay, and then suddenly this spike in it, and be like, everybody come back, everybody get back to stop this one.
We got to figure something out here.
I mean, good problem to have, right? Of course. I wish them all the best. It was a lot of fun what we played. I wonder.
Yeah,
what
I really liked it.
Yeah, maybe new maps, maybe other stuff. Like, get that and get it. You have a community on the hook, right? So now reel them in and make the best game you can. So good for them.
Push forward.
Also a pretty small team, I think. So good for them. Is that it for news that we had? We have breaking stuff here. Bacalar, if you want to talk a little bit about what is going on with this Luna, Amazon's streaming service.
Yeah, so
game
this,
streaming.
This was announced about a few minutes into our broadcast here. Amazon Luna is coming. It's a new cloud gaming service. It is essentially what sounds like their Stadia.
Okay.
So I'm just regurgitating bullet points here because
tell me what they're saying.
I haven't really dug down. It's built off of the AWS game servers.
Okay.
And it can this is coming from Amazon, so there is a certain language to this. It can stream games without lengthy downloads, updates, or complicated configurations, which is something that all of these streaming things kind of benefit from, right?
That's
so
just cross that bullet point off.
Sort of
that
context,
that one
right.
is all canceled out.
So you get no credit for that one.
No credit on there.
Luna controller, there's a separate controller. It
of
looks
course.
like every other controller you've ever seen. Luna controller
it literally looks like they bolted the three major controllers into one.
Yeah, I mean, man, like that's gonna be the wild shit, right? When like someone comes up aside from Nintendo with like some sort of wackadoo controller where you're just like,
Valve tried it. Remember the Valve controller? They tried it. Didn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, there was the Steam controller.
Worked.
The
Yeah,
Steam
I mean,
controller's pretty good.
Yeah,
all right. That's what Alex was
I hear that a lot.
Oh, sorry, that is what you're talking about. Sorry.
That was what
just from you. I hear that just from you.
I kind of like it. If you're playing something that's slow, it's okay.
Yeah.
If you're playing something that you actually like need some speed on, it's awful.
Yeah.
I thought, Alex, I'm going to say, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the VR controllers.
Oh, no. I have no opinion of those because I don't have VR.
Let's not cross
the threshold.
Let's not cross the streams.
Okay.
Yeah, let's not do it.
Let's keep it into this conversation. So the controller directly connects to the cloud for instant play on your Fire TV, PC, and Mac.
That's right, Stadia,
as well as web apps for iPhone and iPad. Android coming soon. Womp womp womp. The multi antenna design allows for uninterrupted Wi-Fi for lower latency gaming. All right, again, come on, like. Yeah, it's real easy to write. Let's test it out. Let's see what the deal is. And the ability to seamlessly move from screen to screen. That's an interesting idea. I feel like that's what Stadia wanted to do at some point, but still hasn't really been able to stick that landing. I haven't gone back to Stadia enough times in the last 2 months. My my feeling towards that service is more and more sort of positive, whether or not a lot of people use it. Customers can subscribe to Luna Plus. It's a game channel, a part of the early access to play favorites like RE7, Control, and more. Holy shit, Control's on everything now. And
coming to 3DS soon.
Yeah, Amazon also announcing an agreement with Ubisoft to make the Ubisoft channel available directly through Luna.
What?
There's other things floating around. The
Okay.
reporting's a little bit all over the place. I know Jason tweeted something about there's like basically one fee for everything, a 1 monthly fee, and it sort of bypasses the notion of like a standard tier and a pro tier like Stadia does, but it seems like certain games might extend beyond that standard monthly pricing. So again, this literally just came out less than 2 hours ago, so the story is going to take a couple days to get ironed out here.
I am seeing Luna Plus at $6 per month in the early access period. Amazon saying you will be able to play, subscribers will be able to play on 2 devices simultaneously with 4K resolutions and 60 frames per second. That's coming for select for select titles. This is coming from Polygon Story.
It's compelling because just how, I mean, let's be honest, Stadia is expensive, right? So this looks to undercut that. Again, what it feels and plays like is another story, but we'll see.
Should be noted that Amazon owns Twitch. And so
you don't say.
I do say. And so integration with that stuff, I assume it wasn't in those bullet points, probably a no-brainer, right? Like just kind of like Stadia was trying to integrate with their YouTube stuff. I'm just kind of scrolling down a bunch of stories here.
That Luna controller, man, that looks like the Switch Pro controller.
It really does.
You don't think it looks like the I have to look it up again. The Stadia controller as well. I feel like they all kind of look very similar. The big question is, do you put the D-pad above or
they're
below?
all the same. I think the Stadia controller has a bit more of like a tubular kind of thing going on. I actually do play Stadia a good amount these days, but just like playing Super Hot on it. I love that game. Anyway,
Luna controller, we should say, just to describe it, for people who aren't going to look it up, it does have an X and Y button and an A and B button. That is those are the labels they have gone for with their buttons. It looks like it has that 3 dash line thing the Xbox current Xbox controllers have. What is it? The menu button, the start button, where the start button would be. Those 3 lines. To the left of that is then a big circle, very much like a Xbox button you'd have to bring up your overlay. And then to the left of that is a tiny circle, another small button that just has a circle in it, possibly for taking pictures. And then underneath all of that, in the middle of the controller, is a microphone button. D-pad, very similar to the Xbox configuration where you have the raised up left analog stick. Then underneath that is the D-pad. And then to the right of that, the analog stick.
You were talking about the Twitch thing. Did you want to add on that?
I don't have any more information.
What did you say?
I said they will probably have Twitch integration for your streaming. I would assume.
Yeah. So the players will see Twitch streams for games in the service, and from Twitch they'll be able to instantly start playing Luna games.
Okay.
So like if you're that makes it sound like if you're watching a Twitch stream and you have Luna,
that's what they wanted from the Stadia stuff too with YouTube. But yeah, I get it. Bringing people and developers together at last.
Turning you into a video game.
Turning you. What are you playing? I don't know. Buy it. We're this story is still developing at the time of this. Controller, I'm seeing now, scrolling down a page again from the Polygon story, introductory price of $50 for the controller. Again, the controller connects directly. That's kind of how Stadia stuff works as well.
And all the reporting that I'm skimming through real fast here does call that monthly subscription an introductory rate, which leaves a bit of room for an increase at some point.
No, I haven't seen, and again, we're kind of just skimming through a lot of this stuff, any integration with Prime or like, hey, this is what it would be if you're a Prime subscriber already. I'm mostly just seeing this as kind of a separate service here. So I'm sure that will be a question going forward. Like
TBD.
Could you roll this into some kind of Super Prime stuff? But they do Amazon TV channel, like they do this channel thing with their Amazon TV service, right? I'm not that familiar with it. I don't subscribe to it. And
That's separate.
That's separate outside of Prime. So, it's not like they don't have other services aplenty. All right. Also, do we know, sorry, Jeff, have you seen anything about hardware? Is this something where you buy like a Fire TV or something and this app will be on there, or will this be like on
Seems
LG
like it's
TVs?
an app solution and that's it.
Okay.
The only hardware being the controller. That's the vibe I'm getting right now.
Okay.
Which makes sense that you would basically be able to switch it, you would be able to shift over. Like you don't need hardware for the Stadia. You don't need that stuff.
I'm telling you.
You seem exhausted.
I'm exhausted. I'm telling you, I don't know
We're
if they
all
will get
exhausted.
around the Stadia problem, which is I'm not buying all these games again, even if I can stream them.
Well, this is a monthly. If you do have to buy extra games on it, maybe you just don't. I don't know. Like,
I also feel like maybe this isn't for people who might buy them again, but more for people who are like, I play games occasionally. I'll buy them for the first time.
That feels good. That's what I feel like this feels.
Yeah.
I think that's what maybe Stadia. Well, I don't think Stadia was necessarily designed for that, but I think Amazon maybe understands how Stadia performed.
Yeah.
And says like, oh, let's just catch everyone else who's just like, I'm not buying a PS5. I'm not doing, I don't know.
If they have the library, they could do it. If they go out there with 10 games at launch, if they Stadia this, then Stadia had more than 10, but it wasn't anything you really wanted.
Man, you're using it as a verb now, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people use Google as a verb.
Totally fair.
Anyway, that's more to be seen. Is this stuff that came out of their games, that all that Amazon Game Studio stuff? Is this what that turned into? Remember all that? Like Lumberjack?
I think that's a reasonable speculation. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There's more stuff, right?
Is there more news or more on the Amazon?
There might be from you, but I got nothing.
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
More new. I didn't mention this in the previous segment. I'd also been playing with an RTX 3080. And I feel like that's worth talking about.
That is NVIDIA's new graphic card, available now.
Yeah. Well, things are tough to get right now, I guess, with your pre-ordering. Smoke on the street is that a 3080 is the most elusive of them all.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I have one from Gigabyte and someone. Sorry. Okay. I hear these thuds and I'm like, where are they coming from? What's happening? Forgive me. Yeah. So I was lucky enough to get my hands on a Gigabyte 3080. It's called the Eagle.
It's just to clarify for people who don't know, the manufacturer Gigabyte, not some kind of
the hardware manufacturer. So they take the Ampere like specs that NVIDIA has on the reference card, and they smush it together. So NZXT has been really helpful with all this. I'm working on a thing with one of their machines, and it's turning into this bigger thing of like comparing 3080 machines against the next consoles. And what's really interesting is like, I don't know, the more I kind of look at this, the more it's like, this is no secret. We're talking about your setup, maybe not getting an Xbox, maybe getting a 3080 and maybe a PS5 and calling it a day. So I'm looking at that kind of stuff. More specifically and more immediately, there's a lot of fun things that this 3080 and the new generation consoles are really boasting in terms of like, what the resolution, the 4K resolution at 120 hertz is like a thing that a lot of these, and I've been able to put together a couple things here, and I now have something that can do that. So I will be able to test that out, which is really dope. Not just on a Series X, but also a 3080 and a PS5, and see what that looks like. Because I don't know, playing a game at 4K 120, I've never done it. That might be pretty cool. I played games at 1440p and high refresh rates like that, but not 4K and not surely not on a big television.
I think it's interesting in a lot of ways. Obviously, the 3080 route a lot more expensive because you have to build the PC around that too, and the card availability. But the yield, I personally feel like, and plenty of people can correct me on this if you want to in your own circles, that you'll get more mileage out of that target of 120 on the PC. You have the infrastructure's there. There are more 120 hertz monitors. The Xbox and Sony boasting anything 120. The 120 TVs, 120 hertz TVs, and everything like that out there, maybe a little harder to come by. And I don't know. I don't see it as readily available on the console as it would on the PC.
Yeah, it's so I had it hooked up to my older OLED, and I have like a temporary one now here that the newest one that we all have can do 4K 120. And I was running Control maxed out, getting a solid 60, and I mean that is something to behold for sure. So
right. I do feel like people who the console manufacturers, card manufacturers that promote 4K 120 means that we should get a solid 60. I feel like that's what that really means if you read between the lines on a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we're at an interesting time with the tech, because look, you could get this with a 2080 on certain games. 3080 is a pretty substantial jump from what I've seen so far.
Well, so there's a 2070 in this work machine that I'm using right now. Do you think that if I were to, let's just say in one way or another, seek out one of these cards, is that going to be a substantial enough jump that it's worth making the jump?
It'll be a jump. I don't know if it's worth it. My sort of recommendation has been like definitely the 900 cards. Definitely. Right. I think there's a case to be made for like the entry level 10 series cards. Maybe. To me, that's maybe you're not just ready for that. Coming from a 20 series card, a 2070, I don't know. I mean, it is definitely a jump, right? There's a jump. It's substantial. I mean, this card outperforms the 2080 Ti, right? Like, it's there's a jump, but
I some of the specs they on a spreadsheet look very good.
It's kind of wild. Like I was talking to people about that 3090 also, which is the I dubbed it NASA in a box. But what really is coming to the surface with like the benchmarks and the performance is that people are they're not super hot on it because of the jump from a 3080.
Right.
So I guess like
the diminishing returns
for that one, and
I don't know.
Like, I don't know. But yeah, it's a really cool time for the world of GPUs. So I'm excited to see when the next gen stuff, has these games in 4K 120. If that is a thing, like what's that look like and play like? And you need a special cable. You need HDMI 2.1 cables that can handle 48 gigabits. It's a lot.
I also have a question. Like, what's the deal with like monitors nowadays? Like, are the monitors good enough to really even handle these kind of cards?
So they are. The monitor I have my 3080 up to is a 1440p monitor, and it just sort of like it laughs at that. It's just sort of like, please, I can also juggle and do this at the same time. You can tell it's just not being pushed in the way it's being pushed when it's hooked up to the 4K monitor. But I think you can get into conversations with people about what it's like when you sit as close as you do to a computer monitor, and the difference between 1440p and a 4K monitor. And it's, I think it's a little dicey. I think the unspoken angle, maybe people are kind of talking about it in a way that it makes sense, but it's really, for me, it's about hooking these up to your big screen TVs now, because something like the 3080 is going to have an easy time getting you to, doing a real smooth 4K experience. If obviously the 120 is like pie in the sky utopia stuff, but like, and TVs now, variable refresh rates. This one is, a G-Sync compatible. Like there's cool stuff happening for sure. It's super expensive and you'll never no one should ever buy it, but like,
well, don't forget,
I don't know.
If you're in the market, I think it's worth saying that you should make sure that your HDMI ports are compatible with was it 2.1 spec.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And-
so a lot of TVs do not have 2.1. If now sometimes TVs will do like, hey, just inputs 3 and 4 or
Right.
2.1. It's a
Right.
whole thing.
Noting that I don't know why, but like maybe is it a cost thing? I don't know. This is not a tech pod necessarily.
Ask
but-
David Katzmeyer. He'll
But
explain.
about HDR on screens on PC marketed screens is like limited still. So that
You
that's-
can get them. They're out there. I don't hear a lot of people ranting and raving about the HDR experience on a computer monitor. I know our OLEDs, the ones we all have, like those do a bang up job in things like Dolby Vision
Yeah.
and HDR 10. So, man, that's sort of like this weird gray area. I think if you had like, if you had like the really high performing HDR experience on a computer monitor, I like you're just driving the price up, and you're just, I don't know, it's just not a thing there yet that they're deciding to make. A lot of new high-end monitors do claim that they're HDR compatible, but I don't hear a lot of people saying that like, oh, the HDR on this monitor is where it's at
versus this or that one. Or
yeah,
right?
it kind of, most people are pretty content right now with a 1440p monitor running at, with the 144 hertz compatibility
Over DisplayPort or something, not necessarily.
Yeah, that's a DisplayPort thing.
The other thing that is really interesting in this market, along with the Series X, the PS5, these new cards from NVIDIA, AMD has a bunch of stuff coming out, which is also they have their new video cards and new CPUs coming out.
Yeah, the video card stuff is what I've been looking at, and they are leaks are starting to come out that they could be competing in terms of horsepower with the 3080, but that stuff's happening soon, just a few weeks away. And where their RDNA GPUs are going to be announced. So
it's
look forward to that too, because that's plenty of people rock AMD stuff.
Yeah,
so
I'm really interested in their CPU stuff. Not even necessarily for gaming, for some of the multi-core stuff. And I was trying to convince my wife that that for our kids, we, instead of in the future getting them computers, that we should do a hypervisor or basically have a centralized computer and terminals in their room that we then kind of do virtualized computers for each kid as they kind of grow and want to expand and do that stuff until we get into the gaming department stuff and it gets a little more complicated. And I really love this idea because I get to build all this dumb stuff. And she was like, let's see if they used the desks you're making for them first. And I'm like, no, here's what we got to do. I got to partition out. It's going to be, I'm going to go into the budget. I'm going to budget all that. She's like, oh, slow down. All right. It's just
while you're doing all this, she just goes and gets a couple of Chromebooks for like $150.
Yeah,
and
she's definitely like
silently gives it to them
on the kitchen table over the Wi-Fi. That's like, just get to work. Your dad's doing some stuff in the basement. Don't worry about it. So yeah, I don't know. And then I was like, well, like then if we have any trouble, if they run into issues while they're doing virtual school or anything like that, we could probably just remote in. And she's like, what? I was like, you remote in? We can kind of check it out. She's like, no, you're never allowed to remote into anyone's computer in this house and see what they're doing.
That's good. Good boundaries.
Yeah, so we'll find somewhere in the middle. I think of like, well,
you're like, I don't know if that's good, but whatever.
I don't want to remote in. I'll just sniff all the traffic from the router. Don't worry. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's going on there. So yeah, it's that's the current drum. So anyway, those CPUs, I was wondering if also just in terms of compression and doing math, which is something that we do on the video side.
Math's not involved in any of this. Listen, are you gonna upgrade your card
for a 3000 series?
Yeah.
No.
What do you have?
I have work has me on a 2070 Super.
Oh, I think I think you.
But my personal card is 900 series. So
yeah, you should upgrade.
Yeah. So if
my home PC is definitely a 900 series, and that one's got to go.
It's time, man. Those cards are pretty old by
Yeah. So if the work stuff weren't here, if I weren't on Viacom CBS's dime or whatever this card whatever happens to this thing.
No, that's the thing. Nobody owns it now.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think
It's
that's
just
how
in
that
the
works.
wind.
I don't think that's how that works, Jeff. So I would
It's
personally.
an acquisitional
It
loss.
belongs to all of us now.
Wink,
It's everyone.
I do hate the scarcity stuff. I'm running into this in every hobby I have at this point, and maybe it's the world economy collapsing. I don't know, or the doom of everything
Could
else.
be.
But like,
Could be.
that whole thing stresses me out. It's why I never do eBay bids. I stress out over that stuff. I don't like it. I'm always a buy it now for anything used on eBay. I just cannot do the bidding stuff.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, and it just feel like
It's also like once you win, it doesn't feel good. It's always a thing that it's like, did I pay too much? Am I stupid?
I am.
Wow, instant buyer's remorse.
But yeah, like I don't know. I don't have that drive in me to go chase a lot of that stuff down. So I don't. So if these 3,000 cards became available at not a jacked up price further on down the line, again without the work stuff, I would definitely look into it. But if I have to go hunt and peck and make those kind of compromises, I don't know.
This is like you said, this is another stock situation that is not great. Nvidia's like, oh, our supply will ramp up.
Yeah, which I'm sure
it's
it
like,
will.
I don't, can't get any worse. So,
so yeah, we'll see.
All of this computer talk has gotten me thinking. I've got this lovely beefy computer here. Thank you, CBS. And I have a question. Instead of pre-ordering a PS5, should I buy a VR rig?
Like when you say rig,
Should
do you
I
mean computer or do you mean just the goggles? And
I mean goggles, maybe look into the one that doesn't need to connect to a computer, but are there any good games for it? Is now the time for VR? I like VR. Is VR stupid? Is it stupid to get a VR set if I'm not just like
I don't think
rich?
VR is stupid. I just don't think you should get a VR rig over a new I just for me it's too much of like a process.
Jeff, what's the best VR for me?
For you, I don't know. Like probably the people really like the Quest, and they just announced
that's the one that doesn't hook up to a computer, right?
I think.
Like are the games on it any good? Are they compromised?
I was playing around with the Index, and like I told you, it made me sick.
Yeah,
and
that was that one game though, right?
That's classic.
Right,
though.
it was that one game.
I mean, I've had VR make me feel pretty queasy, but it's just the way of the game.
The Quest 2 seems like people are stoked on it. I don't, I just don't think now's the time for you to, if you're choosing one or the other, I think it's a tough sell to make the VR.
It's more like one now, one later.
I bet.
We're gonna be real about
fine. That's fine.
It's here's why I think this is an interesting question. I think out of the gate you'd use the VR more for like a month.
Yeah.
And I think
but then I'd never touch it again.
And I'd never touch it. Well, you touch it once in a while. And I think the PS5 would become your main console, and you just
the PS5 would be a thing that I would be a little slow start. I'd play my Spidey Man, and then I'd just go back to my PS4 to play Fortnite with my friends.
Why wouldn't you play it on PS5?
I guess you're right. Yeah, play
it's cross-platform, right?
HD Fortnite. Yeah,
with
my friends on the Switch.
I feel like you'd pretty much put the PS4 in a closet somewhere, or sell it at some point, and the VR would be fun for a long. And once you soak through all those games, and you'd be like,
It'd be nice for like that Valve one to just not be $1,000, right? Like I get it.
Okay.
It's a thing. It's expensive, but like I know for sure the VR community is somewhat in agreement that that's like the one.
Right. Well, here's another fun thought. What if instead of me buying a VR rig, I buy a PlayStation 5 and then I convince someone from the West Coast offices to mail me one of their VR rigs?
Well, you've got it all figured out. So
well, I think I'm gonna say a wait and see on this one to see what the
all right, I'll send some emails
what the
out.
world looks like in terms of rigs.
And you can definitely run VR on the machine you have.
I have no idea. Yeah. I don't know how VR works. I would think so. It can do anything, right?
On the work computer?
Yeah, that thing's beefy, right?
It's a beefy computer. Yeah.
Yeah.
That also has a 2070 in it, and it's pretty good. All right.
Yeah, maybe I'll get back into the VR space. I'll it's been like 5 months since I had that traumatic experience, so I don't know.
Hey, can I ask you a question about this gigabit card that was sent to you?
Yeah.
Gigabyte card.
Gigabyte, yeah.
Does it have a, because it's coming in a custom build, right?
Yeah.
Is it
What do you-
water cooled?
it's-
Does it have a water? A
No,
block
no,
on it?
it's a separate card. It's
Oh, okay.
fan cooled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And it
Thank
doesn't
you.
have like the Founders Edition reference card. The 3080, the NVIDIA one, has like fans. This only has 3 fans on the top of it. One of
Okay.
them spins the opposite direction
Cool.
than the other two,
Sure.
but that's about it. Yeah.
Intake outtake. Very neat. Okay. Is the computer the computer you're using, does that have custom water in it? Custom cooling?
It's got a closed water cooling CPU kit.
Is it like one of the Corsair off the shelf ones, or is it one of those fancy ones you take pictures of?
No, it's not like a.
I
it's
see the
not
milk
like an
running through
open
it.
system. No,
Okay.
it's not like the open system. It's a closed little
Okay.
system in the black tubing kind of
Okay.
thing.
Cool.
Like it looks like one of those Corsair Jimmy Jams.
Oh, spiders. Anyway, let's
Spiders.
spiders. Sorry for those in the audio podcast, just spiders. I thought spider season was over. Let's speaking of Spider-Man, let's go take another quick break here. We'll be back with some emails in just a second. Let me get the music here. And there it is. All right, stay tuned. We'll be back in a bit. All right, just
I
wanna
can
hit
also
the
sneeze on command whenever you need me
crying
to.
out loud. Just 3, 2, 1, sneeze.
Choo.
Choo. Good job going off mic though.
Ta-da.
Folks, it is time for emails. If you have an email, please send them to beastcast@giantbomb.com. That is beastcast@giantbomb.com. We're gonna get through a couple of emails this week. Thanks to everybody for sending them in. We read them. Don't pull them all. We read them. And they get distributed around to the folks that need to see them the most. Abby Russell, what emails have you pulled?
Okie dokie. Alex, please read this one from Colin.
Hey, folks. Hope you're all well. Do any of you save games of a certain genre for a certain time of year? Usually I save role-playing games or other turn-based games for the winter, as there's something about a slower-paced game during the colder, shorter days that makes them better somehow than in the summer. Thanks and stay safe, Colin.
Interesting.
I don't know if I do, but I think when I think about it, I probably preserve like party games for the summer, stuff where I'm like, oh, big groups because just going to hang out with people more, stuff like that.
I definitely do not do this thing at all. I just want to get that out there. But if it's any sort of way to continue to talk about it, I will pivot and say that I have a certain connection with certain games based on the time of year that they were released. Obviously, the yearly calls of the duties and the NHLs are tied to certain moments in the seasons. But for example, the original BioShock came out like the end of the summer-ish, like late August.
Mm-hmm.
And I played that during like the Halloween time, and I will never forget, like I cannot detach the original BioShock from Halloween, because I also have a wife that starts decorating for Halloween at the end of August as well. So maybe I have an easier time associating that with that holiday. But yeah, I now, like, BioShock and Halloween are tied together forever as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I found BioShock real spooky. I think, scary games in general, Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
it happened.
Halloween season begins September 1st now, so you get a solid 2 months of scary games.
Oh, yeah. There's been pumpkin lights in my kitchen for a while.
Can I backline? I don't want you to spill any beans here, but can you tell us a little about costumes this year? Or you got ideas?
He wants to do a Sonic thing.
Okay.
So
Ooh,
I think he's going to be Sonic.
Halloween.
He wants to be Sonic .exe. And what is it? Is that what it is? Did I just fuck up?
I don't remember. Yeah, something like that.
Who the fuck knows? Doors closed. Don't worry.
Okay.
He's calling me Eggman, like I resemble Eggman or something.
I
don't know.
love that.
I-
You got to be Eggman.
I see it. I see
He-
it.
Where's your meat
Uh,
machine?
Yeah, I gotta get one of those to complete the whole deal. And then I don't know, Stace will be like, I don't know who he said she should be. Oh, maybe
Knuckles.
Amy? No, Amy.
Amy.
Like
Okay.
there's a Sonic
Yeah,
Amy
definitely,
person,
yep.
and then maybe Tails. Either
Do you guys
Tails or
always do a
Amy.
group costume?
Ever since he's been old enough to like appreciate something like that. Yeah, we did
That's fun.
like a PJ Masks thing one year. And then what was it when you were over?
It was PJ
Benny?
Masks.
That was PJ Masks.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't. Oh, last year I was Beetlejuice.
Ooh, that's a good one.
He
Oh,
was
yeah.
a dinosaur, and Stacy was like, I don't know, witchy poo or something.
Nice.
We went
Okay.
on our own last year. But yeah.
Just kind of everybody did their own thing for a little bit. Too
Yeah.
many fights in the conference room.
Yeah.
I
What
remember
about
when
you?
I was his age, I refused to be anything that wasn't spooky.
Right.
I didn't go as anything not spooky until
I'm
I
with
was
you.
like 12.
I'm with
probably.
you. Inherently, and again, this is not an official rule, but it might as well should be. If you're dressing up for Halloween, your costume should have a spooky element to it. You can't just be like, a unicorn.
Well,
like
what's
you gotta
a PJ
be
Masks
scary.
spooky? What's aside from kids getting up in the middle of the night to go run around town and fight crime? What's spooky about a PJ Mask?
It's not. I'm actively
Oh, okay.
breaking the law, and I'm not happy about it.
Okay, all right,
We're saying like you need to be scary.
all right. I don't know.
You don't
You're
have
person.
to, but you should be.
You're disrespecting the purity of Halloween if you're not scary.
Yeah, there's got to be like blood. It's scary. It's like
Yeah.
dead things. Like, come on.
How are you gonna
Yeah.
scare the ghosts off?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't have seasonal game stuff. I used to when I was a kid and before this job, and now it's just, and I don't know, the game that's out. I always do have a little bit of a fondness for when game of the year comes up, and I want to try and get through as much stuff as possible, and it's winter, and kind of trying to hunker down and play as many of those things as possible. That might just be because I played a lot of Obra Dinn, which was I really liked during that time. And then before that, I played a lot of Soma before that, which is another game I really liked during those periods.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, holiday season, traditionally a lot of big games anyway. So, but when I was a kid, it was a summer break. Forget it. Just load up a game. Let's play this all summer, or winter break from school, which wasn't as big. Next question, Abby.
Okay, next question. I will read it from Dave. We got a couple of emails about this. Recently, Abby mentioned that she bought a motorcycle, and I'm just curious. What did you get? I'm a fellow rider myself, and taking my bike out has been one outlet during this pandemic that remains largely unaffected. That's from Dave. I did recently get a motorcycle. I got a Honda Rebel 300 2018. It is like a cheapo beginner bike. It's nothing fancy, but it gets the job done. It's my first motorcycle that's like modern, and it's so much easier to ride. Jeff, you have somebody peeking over your shoulder back there. Not anymore. So it was just peeking in a way that I really found pretty amusing there.
Sorry, that's just my spooky wife.
I just saw like her
Terrifying.
little head.
She
pop
wasn't
in.
wearing her witch's
and then
hat
pull
that she
back out.
normally wears all day.
I think she needs you. She keeps pacing back there.
I know. I think she heard you talking about her. Here she comes.
Jeff, she's coming. She's creeping around the corner. She's creeping. Jeff, you're gonna get murdered.
Are you trying to kill me? What's going on? Okay, sure.
No, you're in trouble. No, you're in trouble.
I'm not in trouble. My kid's in trouble.
Oh no.
Wow.
Abby, why don't you continue while Jeff
I
Tell
think
us
I'm
more
a-
about the bike.
Not much more to say about it. It's been fun riding, getting back into it. I learned to ride a motorcycle like 5 years ago. And I learned on a Honda CL 350. It was like a 71 bike. It died pretty much right after I got my license, and then I got a moped. But it's been nice getting back into it, getting used to it again.
Riding.
Yeah, like I said, a new bike, so much easier to ride. I imagine it's similar with cars, old car versus new car. Wow.
So much easier to drive.
Oh yeah, it seems like it.
I buy it. I buy it.
Anyway, that's the end of that. Shall we move on to the next
Yeah,
question?
let's go to the next one.
Okay, Jeff, you're back. Please read this one from Aaron.
What would be your favorite drunk at 2 a.m. food or food delivery option?
Oh boy.
So that just reminds me a lot of college, and just like treating yourself like shit 24/7 for 4 years, which is basically what they should just advertise college as. A lot of like taco burrito situations.
Yeah, okay.
And then like I was a Taco Bell fast food person. I was never really like a McDonald's fast food person, but either that or like just I could go to town on like bacon, egg, and cheeses. If like you can find yourself a bacon, egg, and cheese real late at night
2
like
a.m.?
that.
Okay.
Oh, they're like bodega places will do it. Like
On a roll or
that's
on a
where
bagel?
I'm at. Huh?
On a roll or on a bagel?
I'll take either or, preferably a roll. I just
when you're
love
drunk,
those-
you're not being particular.
Yeah, it could just be like two human hands surrounding that thing, and you'll eat it. But yeah, I'd go for the roll for sure. But oh man, I could go for one right now. Now that I think about it.
My go-to drunk food, it was more about the atmosphere and less about the food itself. Like a good like hangout spot. When I was in Boston, we would always go to like an IHOP. That was our go-to. Middle of the night, 24-hour IHOP, get a bunch of pancakes. That was fun. And I feel like in New York, it was more of like where would it's a lot of Taco Bell, I think. Or like Panda Express is another fun one. Good place you can sit down, really dig into some awful food.
And annoy everybody by being drunk at a Panda Express.
Exactly.
Oh, Vinny, you would like this. This is, I believe, this quote unquote started in New Jersey near Rutgers, but I'm sure maybe you've heard the sandwich, the Fat Cat. Have you heard of that?
No.
It's sort of spread out after I'm told the legend begins in New Jersey, but it's basically these grease trucks that make sandwiches that are like the kitchen sink sandwiches, right? So you have like sub bread, and in that you've got like chicken fingers, mozzarella sticks, French fries,
oh boy,
fucking
onion
I don't
rings?
know, like maybe a burger in there,
Hot
Fat
dog?
Cat.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe one of them has a hot dog, but like all that in a sandwich.
Yeah.
Google it. You'll see what I'm talking about. Eating something like that when you're in that state, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's if I'm going like college or Long Island, it's probably diners and probably cheese fries, disco fries. If
Diners
you
are the best.
Get pancakes, some fries, some cheese and mozzarella fries with some gravy on it. That's probably a diner thing. In the city, at 2 a.m. drunk, usually, hopefully, I'm already at a kind of a dive bar, getting some kind of bar food, which is and get another plate of potato skins, another thing chicken fingers or whatever, just ordering whatever the bar has.
Like your go-to drunk food is all the food?
And
it's just
as
like
much
everything.
food as possible.
I guess the question,
everything.
the question may be like, what don't I want? I don't want a soup.
Like, would you down like a bag of flour if it was there?
No, like possibly if it's fried.
Imagine drunk Vinny just like wolfing down loose flour.
So it helps the hangover. It soaks it up. Don't worry. There's certain I don't think I want shrimp necessarily. I don't think I'd want like a full fish.
Seafood does not sound good in that context.
Why would you do that?
But I would have fish and chips. I would have like a fish and chips thing. I don't know. It kind of depends. Fair. I don't think I want a salad really. I want something fatty and fried. And
no, I want like
what if it's like a big old Cobb
hot...
salad?
No way.
I like a Cobb. Give me a Cobb salad.
I like a Cobb, but not when I'm drunk. I'm similar. I want like dinery greasy food.
Yeah,
or I want like delicious fast food that I can get a lot of for a little bit of money.
Yeah.
How could I disregard? Oh my gosh, yes, the diner, the 24-hour diner.
Yeah. Harder to find in New York these days. Like walking around, I feel like I used to stumble across them all the time, and now I feel like
these days especially, usually not anything that's open 24 hours right now.
I feel like you more find those like 24-hour sort of like hot bar buffet type things.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Where it's like almost like a grocery store / hot bar /
Yes.
sandwich.
Exactly.
See,
yeah.
growing up in the suburbs as I did, those were not really the options. It was the late night diners of the Denny's and the one we used to go to a lot. Well, we didn't have an IHOP in town for a long time. I think there is one in my hometown now, but there didn't used to be. But there was a Denny's we would go to, mostly because there was a very old woman waitress that was always there in the middle of the night named Stella, who we all loved. There was also this other place called Lions, which is, I think, a chain that no longer exists. But it was a really good, like, hey, this is marginally decent food that you can get at 4 a.m. if you really want to. But like the fast food late night options were Jack in the Box and Taco Bell. Those were your two go-tos. But this is all past tense because I don't really drink that much anymore. Even if I did, I don't drink enough to want to wander out to any kind of restaurant or food stall at 2 a.m. By 2 a.m, if I'm not in bed, I fucked up.
Yeah, that's fair. That is definitely fair.
Yeah, when I was doing comedy shows, that's when I was like, Taco Bell evenings, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
Or, you know what was the best one? But I can't really do it. But I got drunk in Austin. We did like an Austin bar crawl, and then we got Whataburger after. Now that was something else.
Yeah.
I'm very privileged and lucky to have spent a lot of my time during those days of being inebriated at 2 a.m. in places like the city or in college-y areas where most of it is just you stumble back to a room or you get on a train where there's mass transit, so nobody had to drive around to go pick up food or anything like that. The Long Island stuff was always definitely, I always felt bad as like 4 idiots or being jerks throwing cheese fries at each other while one has to sit there with their arms folded and be like, "Are you guys almost done? Like, you're annoying everybody here, and we just have to go. I'm gonna drive you home now." Be like, put it in your nose. Like, what if the fry is in your nose? You're a cheese fry head. And often that was me who was putting the fries in people's noses.
A slight counterpoint to that.
Yes.
I'm not saying drink and drive, certainly not. When I was in Austin, we had an Uber driver and we were all drunk. And that driver was very kind and went through the Whataburger drive-thru with us, and we got him Whataburger.
Oh, that's
I think he had fun. But I think if you have a driver who's completely uninvolved and you're paying them money, it kind of makes it more fun in a way.
Yeah. Abby, any other emails?
No.
All right. We got one more thing, and we're going to wrap this show up here. And that last thing is a little thing I like to call corrections. Nailed it on the cue. If you have a correction, send it to beastcast@giantbomb.com. That is beastcast@giantbomb.com. I was so excited.
I like when you leave us like guessing for it.
Yeah,
you know?
Who knows if the music's
What could it be?
Abby, what do we have in terms of corrections for this week?
So this isn't strictly a correction. I just thought it was a nice email. So Vinny, why don't you read this one from Keenan?
I will. Keenan says, on episode 278 of the podcast, Vinny mentioned his amazement at the lack of odor on his merino t-shirt. Abby then mentioned hearing wool being naturally antibacterial, keeping clothes from stinking. This is correct, Shun. Merino wool fibers are inherently antimicrobial due to both their shape and the lanolin oil they contain. Merino also pulls sweat off your skin and then dries quickly, which can help minimize stink. It's a great material, but it has one major weakness. Knives. Its durability. Keep that in mind.
Oh my God, knives. Oh.
Keep that in mind if you're dropping a lot of cash on thin, summer weight merino underwear. Yeah, I'd probably destroy that. That's probably not. That's a one-wear item, probably, unfortunately.
Let's not
go into the detail on that
these
one.
Disposable?
Thanks, Keenan. Yeah, I still haven't been able to transition my lifestyle to the $40 to $50 t-shirt lifestyle yet. Maybe someday.
You'll get there.
I do like that one shirt that I still am scared to wash. I think this washer and dryer have wool settings on them, but I got a couple more wool items, and then maybe I'll put it in there.
It's like jeans. You just don't really wash them all that much.
all that much. Ever.
It says on the tag, don't wash this all that much.
We don't need to wash this all that much. Yeah, care instructions that are like, I don't know. You'll figure it out. Thanks everybody for sending in your corrections and your emails. That's going to do it for this week's show. Boy, I'm exhausted. I'm
tired.
I'm so tired.
Me too.
I am looking forward to this weekend. I feel like there's a lot of stuff ping-ponging around in my head right now that is like buried in deep parts of the brain that I can't access to work through. There's a lot of stuff going on. Usually it's like I'm waking up at weird hours and being like, what is bothering me? And like, as soon as that thing is resolved, I'm sure I'll figure it out. I think I know what some of it is. Anyway, I'm really tired. Thanks everybody for tuning in and joining us. I want to play some video games. I'm going to play some more Hades. I'm going to play a bunch of stuff. I'm going to build a desk. I'm going to sand some wood this weekend.
Cool. Oh yeah.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. Sanding isn't my favorite, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to wear my mask and have my dust extractor on. Carve out some time for that.
I'm going to Google different VR setups. That's what I'm going to do.
You should go to...
Yeah, I'm just going to do all that stuff.
I'm going to open up these PCs. I'm going to de-dust them. That's my project this week.
I just remembered I also got to take apart the drain in the bathroom for the bathtub.
Ooh,
That thing is
that's
full
not
of
fun.
Vinny,
something
hire
living in there.
someone for at least one of these things.
No,
That's my recommendation
I don't think you could hire
to
somebody
you.
to come sand your home DIY. I bet you could, but just like, you know, I really don't want to sand this thing. Could you just sand it all down for me and then walk
You
away?
definitely could.
You definitely could. Yeah, the bathroom drain is clogged. It's not good. It looks like that bathtub is starting to look like somebody, you know, that scene in Encino Man when they give him the first shower. It's like starting to look like that in there. It's not. You don't have to. You can imagine.
You just talking about Encino Man?
Never remember that movie?
That's a movie. That's a movie.
What am I gonna say?
I'm not familiar, but I'll take your word.
Not bad.
So you should go check out everything that's up on the site. Go check out that Hades quick look. A bunch of other quick looks actually went up this week. Off the top of my head, cannot name them.
NBA.
NBA. That's right.
WWE Battlegrounds.
Yes.
Yes, the Battlegrounds. Go check out that Breaking Brad. Go check out the Bombcast and all the other goodness on the site right now. Jeff Backler, anything else we can point people towards on CNET?
Just keep your eyes peeled for stuff. Like I said, eventually we will have a full preview of the Xbox Series X and other things as well. So get ready. Here it comes.
Jan in the chat saying that Mario quick look coming in hot later today.
Mm-hmm.
And
Thank you, Jan.
And tomorrow we'll have the hotspot, and we will have on Friday, that is, if you're listening to this on Thursday, we will have some Vinny Vania coming at you. Forward progress, folks. That's gonna do it for this week's show. Here comes the music this time. There it is. Abby Russell.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Alex Navarro.
Thank you, Vinny.
Thank you,
very
Vinny.
much. Jeff Backlar.
Hey, thanks.
We'll be back next week. A lot of stuff going on. I don't know if I've mentioned it here, but I've been trying to keep up with a semi-updated thing on the forums on giantbomb.com where you can kind of read about what's going up. It's over in the forums. I pinned it to the top. Some random stuff in there too, as well as I get to it. But this week, man, I think it's with the kids back in school. It's been tough. I haven't been able to get to that thing until like 10 at night. And by that time, I'm like, I don't know. Fuck quick looks up. Go check it out. So sorry if that's been higgledy-piggledy for a little bit. But I'm trying my best there. Try my best. I had 2 failed exports. That's like an hour wasted.
That
when you're trying to
sucks.
export
That
something.
sucks.
That's
Yeah.
no good.
Yeah, that's no good. Anyway, thanks everybody for listening. Play the games you like. Stay happy. Stay healthy, everybody. We will be back next week on the Giant Beastcast. See you, everyone.